Mikey, what'd he say?
Justin Rankin.
Oh.
Yeah, Matthew Betts is having a solid year, but when you're the highest paid defensive player in the CFL and your team is struggling, you need to be dominant. He needs to pick it up even more. This team would have a chance of winning.
Milton, one guy that doesn't want to see Betts today, it is Cody Fajardo. A very efficient start to the season for Cody. 267 passing yards, a TD in the Elks last game, a win over the Winnipeg Blue Bombers, and it is our final game in Kelowna. And what a time it has been here. The second game at the Apple Bowl, there has been a festival all week. Concert, galas, football clinics. The fans have had the best time as well. They have been so hospitable. It has been incredible here in beautiful British Columbia. Enoch, I'm going to need some of those tears you showed us at the Grey Cup because I don't want to go home. Don't make us go home. If our bosses are listening, we can just stay. It'll be wonderful. We'll do the rest of the season right here in the Okanagan Valley. It is Enoch Mwamba. It is Davis Sanchez. It is Milt Stiegel. Guys, I don't even know how to start with this week. Obviously, we had to jump to Calgary for the Stampede Bowl, but this has been above and beyond expectations, Milt.
This has been wonderful. Not only what's happening on the football field, but what's happening in the community, everyone, the way they've treated us, eating at the restaurants. This has been something special, and hopefully they'll continue this. It'll be an annual thing. Let's do it, baby.
You know, we come out to places like this, and then we come home. You made a point yesterday. We were signing autographs and talking to people, hanging out. And you made the point yesterday. When I go home and back, it's just a normal, everyday, average day. We come out to these places on these trips. The way people treat us, there's just a lot of love. And that's the community of the CFL. It's a beautiful thing.
Oh, I love it. I loved it. I loved every single moment. And then we even got to see Milt Stiegel struggle in a race. Oh my goodness.
We're still bringing that up?
My goodness.
We're still bringing that up.
We got a whole year for this game.
Enoch has a whole year. And by the way, the rematch has been set between Milt and the Cow, but that's a different story for a different time. In the meantime, Farhan Lalji, I can completely understand now why you love broadcasting in British Columbia, but I got to tell you, I may ask to move out here and we can at least host together. We'll be sidelines on the Lions together. What do you think?
I love that idea. I can guarantee you I'm not going back to Toronto, but you are more than welcome to stay. Kate, I think the entire province would be cheering for that. I know Amar Doman would. The Lions, though, don't want to stay. At least they don't want to stay at 0-3. They might want to stay in the Okanagan. We'll see. They went through a similar situation a year ago. They began the season 1-3. Before a 1-point win in Week 5, they were able to eke out and that turned things around. Now, the context there, they were without Nathan Rourke for most of those 3 losses, but it does underscore just the fine line between winning and losing in this league, and that's something Elks head coach Mark Killam has tried to get across to his team, an unfamiliar 3-0, and he is, I talked to him earlier in the week, I said, hey, look, let's talk about the success your team's had and how you're handling it. He said, I don't want to talk about success. I've talked to my team about the few number of plays that have defined each of those games. He talked about that fumble, the call that went their way with Justin Rankin last week. So either way, both teams want their teams focused. Both head coaches do. They want them present on what's happening right now. But a couple of Lions coaches did talk to me about a story 15 years ago, 2011. The Lions were 0-5. Edmonton was 5-0. The two teams faced each other. That turned BC's season around. They'd like to have a similar story authored this time around if they can find a way to eke one out here.
Farhan, we were just talking about all the great things that have happened to Kelowna. You could say if you're a Lions fan, really the only thing is the fact that they don't have a win on the season. Yeah. And look, a lot was put into this. The stands that have been built, I mean, we got 19,000 fans that have come and see this, and they just want to see the British Columbia Lions win. 0-3 is not ideal. You go 0-4 into a bye week, I can't even describe right now how that would make this team, this fan base, this ownership group feel. Yeah. This feels like a must-win today, Milt.
It is a must-win. It is a must-win, and they have some areas they need to clean up. And it starts with defense and special teams. In a minute, I'm going to tell you why their special team coach got fired. But this defense is head-scratching because they give up the fewest net yards in the CFL, but they give up the most points. Reason being, yes, they have struggled with the defense. They haven't forced any turnovers, but it's also special teams. Their special teams stink. They give up the most punt return yards. Their punt return team is averaging the less yards. Their kickoff return team has second worst kickoff return yards. So they have problems. So the reason being is their offense has been putting their defenses in bad position. Same way with the special teams, and that's why they fired their special team coach. So they have a lot of areas they need to clean up. I don't care how well Nathan Rourke plays. If that defense and special teams don't start playing better, they're not going to be able to beat many teams.
Yeah, I mean, we said this yesterday or the day before about Ottawa as well. Certain teams have to play complementary football just to win because of the way your roster is built. And this BT team is that way. I mean, I think when I look at this Lions team and I look at, to your point, what the special teams has done, Nathan Rourke is throwing the ball. They have more passing yards than everybody else. That sounds like a good thing. That's not a good thing. Nathan's going to get killed. If he has to drop back and throw the ball this much throughout the season, he's going to get killed. So you have to have a balanced attack. You have to be able to win three-phase football. If you're not running the ball effectively and you're not defensively getting stops, your quarterback is going to be forced to do a lot. And I just think for this team, they have to play discipline. They have to play three-phase football just because until they can figure it out defensively.
Right. I agree. And I'll say this. I'll add this to what you're saying too, Davis. The offense, yes, Nathan Rourke is putting up numbers, and it's not necessarily a good thing. But they got to do a better job of protecting him as well. When he's getting those points, it's because he's evading the pocket and running away from defensive ends. He's running all over the field and finding guys downfield. And I'll add this as well. This team is only doing a good job of scoring points at the end of the games.
Yeah.
In the first quarters of each game, they're averaging 2 points in the first quarter alone. They have to find a way to have way more urgency in the first quarter to begin the game. And you talk about getting James Butler involved as well, getting protection for Nathan Rourke. They got to do a better job of putting that together if they want to have success.
Well, it has not been an ideal start at all for the BC Lions. It has been an incredible start for the Edmonton Elks. This is rare territory for Edmonton to be at 3 wins so soon into a season. It took them 13 games in 2021, 10 in 2022 and 2024, 13 in 2023, and then 9 last season.
Wow.
To say fans are loving this in Edmonton, and I was just speaking to a few, is a complete understatement. And look, you could feel the momentum at the end of last season, but now it is carried right through, and this is a heck of a start. We know that this team rolls through Justin Rankin. I mean, he has been phenomenal. He's trying to go for 1,000 and 1,000. But other than that, Ches, what makes this team so successful right now?
Yeah, I think other than Justin, who's obviously been amazing, it's really this scoring defense. It's the #1 scoring defense in the CFL. They're getting up the fewest points, and are they the best defense in the CFL? There's a lot of football to be played, but the way they've been playing, and the numbers will tell you that that's the case. So, I mean, looking at scoring drives, which that's really the true indicator, is keeping teams out of the end zone. Only 13% of the time when offenses get the ball, they're scoring touchdowns against Edmonton. To put that in perspective, 13% of the time. The second place team is 20%, and we're talking about most teams are up over 25% of the time giving up touchdowns. So a huge jump between Edmonton allowing teams to score and everyone else. And a lot of attention goes to the offense, but this defense quietly has really done a great job.
Yeah, I love the defense. They're doing a really good job of getting hands on footballs and creating turnovers and giving opportunities for offense to make plays as well. What I love about this offense, and it's easy to look at Rankin and talk about the numbers that he's been putting up and how he's just, getting to the end zone. I love the fact that Cody Fajardo is also not putting their team in bad situations. It's easy to talk about, Justin Rankin and this team's winning and all of that, but forget that there's a lot of mistakes that he could have made throughout the course of this young season that he didn't. He's not greedy. He's not trying to do too much. You look at just last year, the year before, the hole that this team has been in, the amount of pressure that he probably felt when he took the role. He came in there, didn't try to do too much, didn't put too much on his shoulder, but he's running the system, he's allowing Rankin to shine, and when he needs to make plays, he makes them. And so he is doing an amazing job, so I want to give my flowers to Cody Fajardo as well.
You talked about the defense, and you talked about the offense as a whole, and you said, Kate, other than Justin Rankin, I'm still going with Justin Rankin.
That wasn't the question, Vince.
Yeah, I know, but he's the guy. He's the guy. He's that guy. He's the reason why this team is in position here, and I know this is the ultimate team sport, but he's that guy. He makes up for so many errors that may be not evident because he can do it all. They say he's a running back. No, he's a super back. He's not only the leading rusher, he leads the league in big plays, and because he can get it done not only on the ground, but also when you put the ball through the air. So he's a special running back, and as long as he stays healthy, this team has an opportunity. Yes, that defense is playing well. Yes, Cody is being efficient, but it's all about Justin Rankin. If he's able to go out there and keep doing what he's doing, I wouldn't be surprised if he gets 1,000 and 1,000, and this team can go deep in the playoffs and maybe even to the Grey Cup.
By the way, I love that. We're using Superback all season long. Well done, Milt Stiegel. All right, we're just getting warmed up on the pregame show. Coming up, Milt breaks down his favorite wineries from the week in the Okanagan Valley. So many to discuss, and Dwayne Bonneau, the president of the Lions, stops by.
Shout out to my man, DT.
Just hand the ball to Justin Rank. That's the formula.
Finds some room, still going. Touchdown, Edmonton. What a run by Rankin.
Any given play could be a touchdown play for him.
He breaks free, and he gets the first down and more. Much, much more. Rankin does it again. Magic. Endless amounts of magic.
We just started our new award, the CFL OTSA Dog of the Week. And who is it going to? Justin Rankin, baby. Beware the dog, baby. Beware the dog.
Well, Milt was taking in all the wineries. Enoch and I got to discover a little bit more of Kelowna. This was incredible. These are the guys over at Kelowna Parasail. It is Rob and Mike. They were fantastic. And I must say, Enoch, I don't know what Dwayne Bonneau signed us up for here, but this ended up being one of the most incredible experiences that we've done on the road.
800 feet above. It was an amazing view. It was just awesome. I first thought it was a setup, but I said, you know what? Thank you so much, Dwayne.
No, this was fantastic. Milt, I know you wanted to go and do this, and I must say, it looks terrifying, but this is like being in a couch in the sky. And I think Davis and Milt, when we come back to Kelowna for next year's event, which has been promised to us, that you two need to be doing this.
Let's do it. Let's do it.
I'll have to hold his hand, but we'll be okay.
Let's do it.
It was a little scary at the top. We speak of Dwayne Bonneau, the president of the BC Lions. He now joins us on set. Dwayne, thank you for making the time, and thank you for bringing us to Kelowna. This has been an incredible week, not just the games, the entire fan experience. And I know there was a ton of planning between you and your team that goes into this. What does it feel like to be here and to see the success of this today?
Yeah, tremendous. It's been great. And I want to start off by thanking you guys for your support. Like, Kate, the minute we announced this, you said road trip, so we're in, and it's been tremendous. But it's basically 2 games, and it was 9 days of festival, and that's almost double the length of time of a Grey Cup. So when we look at it, obviously it's not as big as a Grey Cup, but it really has that feel to it, and it's been just a great 9 days, and everyone's so happy for us to be here.
Dwayne, this is an amazing environment and atmosphere that you guys have created here in BC, and every market is different. I was blessed enough to see different ones. What challenges are unique to the BC Lions, and how have you guys tackled them, yourself, Amar, and the rest of your team?
Well, you know, with FIFA being on right now, obviously the largest sporting event in the world, we didn't have a home, so we had to figure out something to do, and we thought, why not do something and make it really, really, really cool? And that's how it all developed. And we said, you know, let's take something that's going to be hard and make it into a great thing. And if you look around, I think it's a pretty darn great thing. I almost swore there. Sorry.
It's a family show. You're so excited. It's completely fine.
Yeah. Well, first of all, I want to commend and congratulate you and your team for putting on a great show. Most people don't realize how much, and it's not just money, but just how much time and energy it takes. And Kate mentioned it. Are you guys thinking about making this an annual thing?
You know, I think
I want to put you on the spot, bud.
No, put me on the spot. Everyone asks me every hour, is this going to be an annual thing? So I don't know yet, but you know, when you come to a market in our region like the Okanagan and Kelowna and see all this fan support and building new fans and just driving it just drives our business. Why wouldn't we want to do that back? So you just never know, but I wouldn't put it past us.
Just make sure the panel is there when it's an annual thing.
Absolutely.
So.
We ran into you last night having some fun talking about we were going to put you on the spot today, but you said we're going to flip it around and ask us questions. So give me a question. Give us a question.
So our team really tries hard to make every game an event. Our concert opener to Touchdown Kelowna to the Watermelon Smash. I want to know what you think we should do for our next theme.
Very nice, very nice. What should we do next theme? Well, I saw some social people doing some pretty cool things. That's probably social contest, I think. I like that interaction.
Social contest.
Social
I got one for you. How about, what's the one thing where you have the person can throw the ball and you dump into the water?
The dunk tank.
Omar Doman and be dunk tank. That's it right there.
That'll sell out.
Dwayne, I've got a better one. Milt versus a lion. We saw Milt versus a cow, but Milt versus a real lion?
A real lion.
Guaranteed sellout.
On the sideline?
A real lion.
How about Dwayne and Amar playing the bookend corners for 1 quarter of the game?
I'd pull a hammy.
Well, welcome to Milt's World right now.
There's a mark.
Congratulations
Yes,
on the incredible event. We've loved being here. We love how much you bring us on the road and just the growth of the game in BC. Congratulations,
Yes,
Dwayne.
congratulations.
Thank you for taking the time. Good luck today. Let's send it up to the guys calling it. Here is Rod and Glenn.
Thank you, Kate. No question. We're glad to be back here as well. Just beautiful in Kelowna. The questions we wonder about, though, can the Elks keep it going? Can the Lions find a way to win. And I think for that, the biggest question of all, Suits, we were talking about, this BC defense beleaguered through the first 3 games. A lot of criticism, a lot of change, some through injuries.
Yep.
And now they got to deal with the most explosive player in the CFL right now in Justin Rankin. I wonder what their approach is going to be.
Well, yeah, when you take a look at what Justin Rankin has done this year in 3 games, it's remarkable. Milt called him a super back. I would 100% agree. So let's go back and take a look at how teams have approached this and sort of the conventional way of trying to stop the run game. First of all, conventional, you get up front in this Ottawa first game of the season, and it's just linebacker scraping to the ball in a one-on-one. Well, I don't think there's many that would pick any linebacker in the league over a one-on-one matchup with Justin Rankin the way he's playing. So then you go to the RPO game with Edmonton where Cody has the choice. And this time, Montreal decides to put 2 on Rankin, and he still makes you miss and get outside. So those are the conventional ways. Haven't worked this year in 3 games. So then you get down, and how do you load them up? Maybe you just cancel the gaps, put 10 of your 12 on the line of scrimmage, and try to stop them that way. And that's when Rankin makes an impact without even having the ball, because Cody will pull it, he gets outside, he goes and scores here. So that is the challenge for the BC Lions. And this may be an oversimplification, but really the Lions defensively in this game tonight have got to be great tacklers in the open field. I mean, there's lots of different ways schematically to stop the run, but the Lions have to be great tacklers to get after Rankin.
Well, one of the big problems they've had on defense, I know the secondary's been under fire, giving up big plays through the air. Now, the biggest challenge would be on the ground, Kate, stopping Justin Rankin.
Well, Justin Rankin, no doubt popular in our same game parlay. Enoch, I will begin with you. What do you like today?
I actually like Austin Mack, and the reason for it is because if I'm in BC and I'm playing on defense, my goal is to stop Justin Rankin. I'm loading up the box and I'm stopping Justin Rankin. Austin Mack hasn't had a 100-yard game yet. Tonight's the night.
Yeah, I got, for the same reason, Justin Rankin, I got Keon Julian Grant to get in the end zone. He's the guy that goes underneath, makes those catches. Eyeballs on Justin Rankin. I think he sneaks off play action, scores.
They've been trying to stop Justin Rankin, but they can't. So I'm going to still go with Justin Rankin. He's done something no other Elk running back has ever done. First 3 games going over 100 yards. He's going to make it 4 in a row. So his number is 91.5. He'll definitely go over that.
You know, I find this very interesting, too, and I thought there's so much attention on Rankin. I thought about Mac, too, because he's had a bit of butterfingers to start the season. He's going to get going at some point. I love that pick, but instead, I had to stick with Justin Rankin because guess what? When it comes to same game parlay and game picks, I'm now just going with the guaranteed because I tried the other stuff and it just didn't work. As we take a look one more time at our same game parlay today, Milt, you like Rankin over rushing yards, already 387 on the year. Davis, you like Keon Julian Grant for a TD, Enoch, Austin Mack anytime, and me, I think Justin Rankin's finding pay dirt today. Here is Farhan with James Butler.
James, 0-3 for your group offensively. It's still a bit of a work in progress. Just where's the confidence level at with this group?
I feel we're very confident. I feel we know that as a team we haven't put together 3 or 4 good quarters of all 3 phases of complementary football, so we're still looking to do that.
You know Justin Rankin's going to get a lot of touches and has had a lot of success early this season. When you go head-to-head, even though you don't face him directly, does it give a little more juice to you in your game?
Yeah, for sure. I love to see any running back ball. You know, hopefully he doesn't ball too much today, but yeah, that's up to the guys on the other side, and they know what's at stake, so we're excited.
Thanks for this.
Thank you.
Meanwhile, a fantastic start for the Elks defense and a nice start for Tyrell Ford. 12 tackles, 1 special teams tackle, looking to wreak havoc for the Lions receivers tonight. Plenty more coming up right after this.
Makes it easy. Everybody believes in each other.
I'm extremely excited from what I saw with this defense in particular.
The ball comes out before he's down, and Edmonton has it. Oh, the ball comes out and a huge hit. The Bombers in scoring position, cough it up.
This has to be the best defensive line in the CFL right now.
Only had 24 sacks all of last year.
If they're going to take and push it really far in the season, this is going to be because of the defense.
They say in television there are some assignments that are just better than others. Well, guess what? Touchdown Kelowna, definitely one of them. This one's going to be hard to beat, I will say that, across the season. It's been a week-long celebration wrapping up today with the Lions and the Elks from a sold-out Apple Bowl. And entering week number 5, the Elks have allowed the fewest amount of points, 68 total, 22.7 a game. And if you look, Hamilton next at 28. Now, one of the main reasons, their DB, Tyrell Ford. He's standing by with our Farhan Lalji.
Terrell, 3-0. You weren't around for much of this team's struggles over the years. You were there last year, but how is this team handling being undefeated right now?
We're keeping the same process, just believing in each other, listening to the coaches, and we're just doing our job. We're playing at a high level and we're having fun. That's how we're successful.
The secondary last year was new. You've now got a season under your belt as a group. Everybody is in the same position. How much is that continuity helping you guys right now?
Yeah, it just makes it easy. You know what to expect from everybody, how to communicate, how they listen, and yeah, having everybody back, even the backups, some of the backups are the same. So it just makes it easy. Everybody believes in each other. It's football.
Thanks for this.
Appreciate you. Thank you. Take care.
Well, I don't like to brag too much when it comes to this panel, but we were a perfect 4-0 last night when it comes to game picks, and I have a feeling this may all be going the same way tonight. Milt Stiegel, who is the winner in this one?
Well, you know what? I think this crowd is lovely, and I think they're going to have a factor in this game, but I think the Elks will pull it out. They'll be 4-0 something they haven't done, and shucks. I think you were playing for them the last time we were 4-0, huh, Chip?
2017.
Yeah. Look, I'm gonna say the same thing. I got the Elks to win this game. I'm gonna say this though, BC Lions, I'm certain, guarantee, will come out and have more energy than the Elks will. Their season and a lot of their jobs might be on the line. They're gonna come out with the most energy, but I think at the end of the game, the Elks win.
I'll say this too. When I speak with the guys, the Edmonton Elks in particular, they are so sober about the success that they have. There's nothing about them that says that they're out of control, out of focus. I'm gonna go with the Edmonton Rankins, Elks.
The superback that is Justin Rankin. You know, this was a tough pick too, and we sat here last Saturday, and I think all of us thought with this crowd and being in Kelowna and all these BC fans that the Lions would finally get their first win of the season. It didn't end up happening. The Stamps ended up winning, and I just think today too, and it's with that BC defense who has struggled so much, and Edmonton's offense, I just have to go with Edmonton. And you know what, I would be lying if I would just say I'm just going to roll with you guys now, because this record wasn't looking good, but it finally is. Canada, they're also going with the Elks, but once again, all 5 picks going to Edmonton. We will see if we are correct. Now, so much focus on Justin Rankin, but there is nothing more than these BC fans would like to see than this man have an absolute monster of a day. James Butler and the Lions hoping to finally get #1 victory today.
James Butler, 3rd in rushing, over 1,200 yards. He had 11 touchdowns last year.
Pushing towards the end zone, and he's in! Touchdown, Lions! James Butler does it himself.
Looks to the end zone. It is caught. A touchdown for James Butler.
James Butler's playing out of his mind.
James Butler right down the pipe, dives into the end zone. Touchdown, BC.
Butler does it again.
Canada Day weekend in the CFL continues from BC, where Touchdown Kelowna once again takes center stage. The Apple Bowl hosting the second and final game in the Okanagan Valley. It is Nathan Rourke and the BC Lions taking on Justin Rankin and the perfect Edmonton Elks, coming up from Kelowna. It is our final game in Kelowna, and what a time it has been. A party has been going on all week long, and today it wraps up with the second game at the Apple Bowl, where Lions fans just want one thing today, a victory. That's all they're asking for. And look, we're a few minutes from kickoff, and we were just saying this sold-out crowd, everyone's sitting down already. This is how much they want this today, and they need it. Back alongside Enoch Mwamba, Davis Sanchez, Milt Stiegel. And look, these two teams are going in opposite directions, and this could make or break it for either team, you think, today, Milt?
Yeah, one team is undefeated, and as I like to say, the other team is defeated on. And this game will be remembered as a game that maybe catapulted one team to a Grey Cup run and rescued another team's season. That's how much impact this game will have on these two teams, regardless who wins or loses.
Yeah, I think BC's going to play with a ton of energy. I think they'll be more physical than Edmonton today. Edmonton has the #1 run offense in the league. We talked about it. But there's a starting linebacker, Ben Haddock, that's out for the BC Lions. Parker McKenna, his first start. He's played 17 snaps in the CFL. Him versus that #1 rush offense is going to be a key for me.
There's a new linebacker on the east side. There's also Dariel Jabon, who's extremely excited to watch, and the Edmonton Elks are extremely excited. But I'll say this one thing about the BC Lions. There's so many problems. Here's the first thing that they need to do if they want to win. Last week, they had 10 penalties for 118 yards.
Oh.
You're playing against 12 guys on the field. You can't allow them to also make mistakes on yourself. Shoot yourself in the foot and help the other team as well.
Buck Pierce talked about how he need to get his running back James Butler involved. So don't be surprised if he making concerted effort to make sure he gets going, and that will help out Buck Pierce. That'll ease it on him.
I think the one thing we can all agree on too, this team needs a hot start. Just like it's hot in Kelowna, we don't want to leave, but we got kickoff from the Apple Bowl with Rod Smith and Glenn Suter coming up right after this.
Yeah, the crowd's getting louder, you know this is the moment, yeah. No time to back down, the noise is getting louder, gotta live up to the moment, yeah. We won't ever back down.
Lorna McDonald of St. Albert, Alberta. This is your chance to win big. Thanks to Save on Foods' $1 million touchdown to win. If a kickoff is returned for a touchdown, you could win groceries for a year. If 2 kickoffs are returned for touchdowns in this game, you could also win $1 million. Good luck, Lorna. Let's send it to the guys calling today's game. It is Rod Smith and Glenn Suter.
All right, Kate Burness, thank you, and welcome again to the Apple Bowl in the heart of the Okanagan for Part 2, Touchdown Kelowna. A great week for football, bookended by 2 games for the BC Lions, and if they want this to be a truly cherished memory, Glenn, they got to pick up a win to salvage this after losing to Calgary last week, and for that, it means dealing with an unbeaten team with arguably the best player in the CFL right now.
Well, right now, for the Lions to have a chance to win this game, never a guarantee, but a chance to win it, the 2 things they have to do on defense is stop Rankin and stop Rankin. He leads the league in rushing. He's averaging 129 yards per game. That has got to be the goal of the BC Lions defense, at least early. Now, Nathan Rourke, top offensive player for the Lions at quarterback, is averaging well over 350 yards a game, but looking for that first win. He hasn't lost to the Edmonton Elks in his career.
Well, it has been a tough start to the season for Buck Pierce and his staff. Shortly after last week's loss, special teams coach Corey McDermott was let go, and there were more changes on the field with injuries. And as for Mark Killam, he's in his 2nd year as head coach of the Edmonton Elks, who are off to their best start in 9 years and looking to improve that to 4-0. The Lions won the toss, and they want the ball, and they have a new returner replacing Silas Bolden, and that is Jaden Williams, his 2nd game in the CFL. He played in Hamilton a few weeks ago as a receiver. He'll line up on their offense, and also back is Jermaine Jackson, who had a good game in a losing cause for BC last week here in Kelowna against the Calgary Stampeders. 0-3 start versus a 3-0 start. And they will meet again in a couple of weeks' time in Commonwealth. But just a gorgeous day. You heard Kate talking about it on this nice natural grass field here in the Apple Bowl, which was built originally for the BC Summer Games back in 1980 and has had a number of big sporting events, but nothing like this these past 2 games, starting last week against Calgary. And it's Vincent Blanchard with the wind at his back to get Touchdown Kelowna Part 2 underway. And picking it up down at the 10 and getting the return up to the 25 for the Lions. And Nathan Rourke, 461 yards passing last week against Calgary.
Yeah, one of his top games of his career, although he traded all of those yards to get that first win of the season. And Nathan Rourke wants to get that run game involved with James Butler. But when you're chasing the score, which they have all season long, they have not had the lead at the end of a quarter all year.
Beautiful hot day here in Kelowna. Keep an eye on that wind as well. It's going from right to left in your screen. So first play from scrimmage, the fake to Butler, and it's dumped off and completed too on that first down. And a big pop coming in there for Edmonton. That's Jermaine Jackson with the catch.
Well, one change on the offensive line from last week. Brandon Yates, who started the season, is back in at left guard. It was Josh Donovan last week against Calgary. One change up front. And Keon Hatcher, we know what he can do catching the ball. Against Calgary in Kelowna game 1, he actually is 1 for 1 in throwing the football.
It was Cordell Jackson delivering that hit on Jermaine Jackson. A second and short coming up after that 8-yard pickup. And Rourke to Butler. He spins to avoid one tackle, and then a bunch of Elks wrap him up, and they take him down before he can reach the first down mark. We got a 3rd and short coming up here for BC.
There's great run defense up front by Edmonton. Good discussion with Ed Hervey before the game, the general manager for the Edmonton Elks, talking about wanting his team to be physical. They started that Winnipeg game in a real physical fashion. They're starting that one here against the run, and James Butler the same way.
And didn't get anything really, so it's a 3rd and 2. Taking no chances to punt the football. It's Carl Meyer standing inside his 20 with a lone returner back for Edmonton and Javon Lake. Who moves over to his left and inside the 30 after a 51-yard punt. Bleak. Good coverage downfield. Riley Pickett on the special teams tackle. Cody Fajardo, big part of that 3-0 start and the comeback win in Winnipeg last week.
Yeah, 100th touchdown pass for Cody Fajardo in that one in his career, and he's looking for his 50th rushing touchdown. Had one against Montreal in a big play down the stretch. Cody Fajardo has been excellent. His decision making throughout the season as good as any in the league.
They will scrimmage from their 34. First possession, Edmonton trying to improve to 4-0 and faking to Rankin, looking to the right and a wide open receiver. That is the fullback Skylar Griffiths in his first year with Edmonton, and looks to have a first down.
You look at all the offensive linemen in this game today for both teams, and the top rated O-lineman is Carter O'Donnell at left guard for Edmonton, according to PFF, and there he is. I mean, that's the goal for the BC Lions on defense. Can they stop Justin Rankin? Cut down that average of 126 yards per game. Crazy.
Skylar Griffith, first year at a UBC, picked up the first down in a gain of 11, but short yardage there for Justin Rankin as they do a good job, BC does up front.
One change up front, injury to Levi Bell on the defensive line for BC, so Matt Spatney will start at defensive end. Now they had Jackson Finley play that linebacker spot at the end of the last game against Calgary, with Deontay Williams going back to halfback and Josh Haggerty out of the UFS at safety. That's the way they're going to start. Mike Benavides' group will start in this one here tonight.
They gave him 1 yard. It's a 2nd and 9. Just across the 45. Fajardo to the right, and looked like it got hit a bit at the line of scrimmage. Closest to it coming in, the new BC defensive back on the corner, Stanley Thomas Oliver, but it's a 3rd and 9, and the Elks will have to punt it away.
Yeah, I think something did hit his arm in that process. It didn't look like that, just kind of died like someone on the follow through. The BC Lions in 3 games have not created a turnover. That seems unrealistic to even say.
Crazy. -4 turnover ratio, but a big difference. There's the Elks are +6. This goes off the side of Jake Julian's foot. Rolls out of bounds, and a flag comes out. It actually goes out of bounds in the air, which it cannot do outside the 15. So a good spot for Nathan Rourke to come back on after that shorter punt by Julian. Nathan Rourke needs another big passing day, trying to get the Lions finally in the win column. After a net 10-yard punt, Nathan Rourke coming back on with that line offense, what he did last week against Calgary.
Well, not only throwing for 462 yards, 3 touchdowns, but he also caught a pass. Keon Hatcher, reverse throw, hit him on a pass for a first down. But again, You know, what does Milt Stegall say? What does it matter if you throw for 361 a game if you're not winning?
Did you win? And they didn't last week. And a lot of Rourke's passing yardage, great day that he did have, came when they were down 3 touchdowns in the second half. So here we are in the first quarter, scoreless tie. BC with their second possession, a good place to start. Near midfield, rolling to the right, completes it 2, and down to the Edmonton 45 for Keon Hatcher.
Ed Hervey wants a physical defense. He got it out of Jordan Williams in the middle of that defensive line. What a hit on Brady Oliveira to start that game against Winnipeg last week. New middle linebacker. They're going to miss Nick Anderson. But Daryl Jabome, I think there's a lot of people very interested to see him play, and Cordell Jackson just has a nose for the ball. He is around the football every play.
Their starting middle linebacker, Nick Anderson, hurt a few weeks ago. And then Brock Mogensen injured last week against Winnipeg. Well, that's going nowhere. You talk about Jordan Williams and the big hit he had forcing a fumble on Brady Oliveira, and he's not letting Butler go anywhere.
Well, it really set the tone for the defense against the Bombers. And you know, that hit that he made on Brady Oliveira, I don't think I've ever seen Brady Oliveira get hit like that. Coughed up the football, turned into Edmonton. 3 points for Edmonton.
And a loss of a yard and a second down and 11 now. BC in the Elks zone, working against the wind at the 46. And Rourke. Nice catch going up for that is Justin McInnes. Right near the first down mark. See where they spot this ball. Around the 35 and 11 yards. That's what they needed to get a first down.
Yeah, strong hands and going up and getting this one. I mean, J.J. Ross is in a great position right behind him. Just reaches beyond Ross's arm length.
Rourke to throw again on the first down. It is caught. On the far side, Keon Hatcher with another catch on this drive. And good pickup to set up a second down and 5.
You know, to basically bump the slump of a 3-game losing streak to start the season. Scoring first will go a long, long way if the Lions can finish this drive, getting inside the red zone now.
They get it down to the 30. And for Buck Pierce, yes, a trying start. This is second season as a head coach in BC. And still looking for win number 1. Pressure coming. Rourke gets rid of it, and it's caught for a first down, too. That is Butler on the receiving end as this drive continues for BC.
A lot of different ways to get your tailback the football. Justin Rankin does it for Edmonton. Butler can do it, too. Going tempo offense.
Down to the 24. Play action pass. Rourke got to buy more time, and then he checks that one down to Butler again, who turns it up and gets another first down, still on his feet, before Cordell Jackson comes in and says, get out of bounds.
Yeah, the physicality. That's just a great football play by both guys. Butler out in the flat is the check down. He gets it, makes a man miss. Up the field, another guy miss. And watch this. Look out. Cordell Jackson's around the football.
Major foul. Unnecessary roughness. Edmonton number 13. The ball will be placed at the 1-yard line and a first down.
As announced by the referee, Andre Pruz, so looked like hard-hitting football to get him out of bounds, but he gets flagged for it, and now BC is a first and goal.
Yeah, I'm going to just say right out front, I disagree with that one. That's just good football, and Butler he lowers his pad level in his head. I mean, there's head contact, but Butler lowers it at the last second. There's no way that Cordell Jackson could make that adjustment on the fly, and he was well in bounds.
It would have to be the helmets coming in contact to be the reason for the penalty. So
that's the reason for it, but you can't avoid helmet-to-helmet contact, and he's saying that's just football, man.
Wants an explanation.
If he targets the head, with Butler upright, different story. But Butler lowers his pad level to take the hit, absorb the hit, and the helmets collide. That's why they wear them.
So down to the 1 and a first and goal. Nathan Rourke out of it, and it's Xander Horvath, the short yardage QB, picked up a touchdown this way before he has another one. after a couple of TDs last week, one receiving as well. Xander Horvath picks up the first points, and the BC Lions have themselves a lead to start off this touchdown Kelowna.
Now, I mentioned off the top, they haven't had a lead to end a quarter all season long in 3 games. So we'll see if they can hold this lead or add to it to try and bump the slump of a 3-game losing streak to start the season.
Well, in Saskatchewan in week 2, their opener, they fell behind, had to come back. They never were able to come back in Hamilton their next game. And then here in Kelowna a week ago against Calgary, they fell behind the Stampeders. They did briefly at the end of the first half take the 14-10 lead, but a couple of late touchdowns by Calgary by halftime, and Stamps never looked back. So the point after for Sean White. We got a 7-0 lead. Just what the home team in BC needs here in Kelowna. Driving down the field and finished off by Horvath. Touchdown drive for the BC Lions, and this is exactly what they need. You talked about it, getting ahead in a game.
Yeah, I think Davis mentioned it just before the game in the pregame show that he expects the Lions, and I do too, to play with a great level of urgency in this one. You do not want to go 0-4. Now, there's lots of game to be played here. Edmonton has got a lot to still say, but this is a great start for the BC Lions trying to bump the slump.
So Javon Leake is back with Carter Kettle for this kickoff by Carl Meyer. And the Lions have the lead. The Elks, by the way, they've certainly trailed before and come back. And Leake let that one roll, and a near disaster coming in. Pierre Kameni, the rookie, to make sure that Leake didn't go any further, had to backtrack after taking that one off the hop. One of their draft picks in 2026, Pierre Kameni, coming in to trip up Javon Leake. Elks ball a little further back, down 7. Little awkward entrance for the visitors, the Edmonton Elks, because the Lions had their inflatable lion's jaws, and I can see it. No way we're running through that.
Hey, when you are on a roll, and the Elks are on a roll, 3-0 to start the season, everything matters.
Sure.
We're not running through the mouth of the lion. We're going around it.
Well, the mouth of the lion working so far for BC as they've opened up with a touchdown. See what they can do defensively for Fajardo, who stands back to pass. He's airing it out. Deep left, and it is caught down at the sideline. And they're saying it's a catch. The Lions don't like it. Josh Haggerty in the coverage of Austin Mack, but a big first down for Edmonton.
Nice throw to the outside shoulder of Austin Mack on this corner route. He's got outside leverage. It's the safety that ends up getting to him, I believe.
They hurry up quickly after a 35-yard pickup to get it off and avoid a challenge, and they do. Rankin, they're all over him. 2 quickly on Justin Rankin, and then a third coming in to help for BC to make sure there's no gain there.
Clearly the Elks weren't sure if he was in bounds here, but Rankin does touch the toe. What concentration for Mack to go up, touch the toe, in bounds. You only need one, and make that catch.
That was what a terrific
Correct
look
call, yes.
at what Rankin did, or what Mack did, getting his foot down. That was a complete pass up near midfield now. And that one big play. 2nd down and long, Fajardo, and that is caught. It's Josh Cephas with the catch, shy of a first down. He gets it inside the Lions 50, and a 3rd and short is coming up here. They're still a couple of yards away.
Yeah, about a first down away from field goal range to get started.
Was an incomplete pass. Incomplete pass.
They're saying Cephas did not make the catch, so will be. It's interesting though. You say he's still shy of a field goal range.
Yeah.
It would have been about a 55-yarder. We were watching Blanchard with the wind at his back going that way, hitting them from that far comfortably with about 10 to. I'll be curious to see, depending on the situation, going that way if they do try something really long. Instead, though,
keeps him just out of range. Yep.
Yeah, too far now as Julian is in his last punt. Ended up being a net of just 10 yards because the penalty as well. That's caught by Williams. New returner Jaden Williams after a 46-yard punt, and he gets it up to the BC 20. The special teams tackles leader for Edmonton, DK Bonhomme, in on that one. The Scenics just sell themselves, don't they? Loving being back here in Kelowna for Touchdown Kelowna. A week ago here in Kelowna, the Lions lost to the Calgary Stampeders, and there was one overriding theme, special teams, which was disastrous in many ways right from the opening kickoff, and it led to a coaching change. Let's go down and say hello to Farhan Lalji.
Yeah, it's been a tough 3 games for the Lions on special teams. That one was the worst of the 3, and as a result, the Lions moved on from special teams coordinator Corey McDermott, and they did so without a safety net, meaning another coach on their staff that is in position to take over. So as a result, it's not as though this team didn't have enough to do with their coaches at 0-3. They decided to spread out the special teams responsibilities amongst all the coaches. Mike Benavides, who's been a special teams coordinator before in the league, is overseeing things. He's handling the punt team. Ryan Phillips is handling punt return. You've got Mark Washington, who's handling the kickoff team. Those coverage teams have certainly been the biggest problem. Now, during the bye week coming up, the Lions will interview some potential candidates. There's no guarantee they hire another coordinator, but they certainly will bring someone in to assist in that area. But they need to get that phase of the game going, given the challenges they've had on the other 2.
And Farhan, in terms of immediate personnel changes, a different returner, Jaden Williams, in there instead of Silas Bolden. Rourke passing, and a hit arriving, it's picked off. The rookie, Dariel Jabome, still on his feet, plowing his way inside the 10. We got a 1st and goal coming up here for Edmonton after a massive hit by Joel DeBlanco. Popped it up for Jabome. How about that moment at his first start?
Well, I said off the top that Jabome is a guy that everybody is interested in watching. He's at that middle linebacker spot for Nick Anderson. And yes, they'll miss Nick Anderson, but look at this hit right into the hands of Jabome. That's DeBlanco. This is that physicality. This is the Edmonton way. Think back to their history. Hard-hitting linebackers.
And Nationals, too, a top pick overall. DeBlanco a few years ago, and this year, 3rd overall for Jabome. Fajardo, and that's in behind the intended receiver, Rankin. Coverage there from BC, and that's Parker McKenna getting the start at weak side linebacker in place of Ben Haladik.
Well, this is sudden change, and this is where Cody Fajardo needs to take advantage, punch it in the end zone for the major, tie this score up, and the Lions' challenge is to hold them to a field goal. But sudden change, so important to keep momentum. It's a momentum swing.
Well, a week ago, they got a big turnover in Winnipeg, got it down, goal to go, and ended up settling for a field goal, and they were angry about that. Big second down here for both sides. Fajardo quickly, end zone, touchdown, Keon Julian Grant. And points off the turnover. The Elks make the Lions pay right away.
It's a quick game for Cody Fajardo, but a solid pocket, throwing lanes across the board. And the Lions secondary playing off a little bit, a little surprising down in that part of the field to give an underneath route that much room. Keon Julian Grant, big game against Winnipeg a week ago.
He did. He had 6 catches for 84 yards and some big ones in their winning drive, and that is first touchdown catch of the season. Working well with Cody Fajardo, and the point after for Blanchard, who puts it off to the right. That was the end. Mentioned with the breeze. He just put that one to the right, so Edmonton still trails. They do get on the board. A 7-6 ball game, BC.
Well, let's take another look at this Joel DeBlanco hit that creates the fumble, that creates the interception, I should say. Never touches the ground. And that leads to this throw to Keon Julian Grant for the touchdown. Sudden change, go in and score the major, and you grab momentum in a football game. Edmonton has it.
Fajardo to Keon Julian Grant was a good combination when they were in Montreal, and a very good one here in Edmonton. He takes that one in. First time he's found the end zone this year. The point after leaves them still a point behind, but the turnover ratio is talking about they are +7 to lead the Canadian Football League, and there's DeBlanco. First overall pick in the CFL draft a couple of years ago, earning a spot in that linebacking core. And as mentioned, they've had some key injuries there with Nick Anderson and Brock Mogeson, and that gave Jabome a chance to make his first CFL start. The rookie, after the hit, got the pick, set them up, and Rourke will be getting ready to go on again now with just the 1-point lead.
Wow.
Booming kick with that breeze at his back for Blanchard. Taking it out of the end zone is Williams. The new returner for BC gets it up to about the 25, just shy of that, as DeBlanco and the Elks head back on the field now.
Well, he hasn't lost to the Elks yet, Nathan Rourke, but we said the same thing going into last week's game against Calgary. Hadn't lost to that team either, and the Stamps won that one going away. So the Lions, as Farhan mentioned, have some issues. They are going to run their special teams through committee, but the hot seat for Mike Benavides hasn't gone away either over the first 3 games of the season.
Up to the 24 now. The Lions, who, by the way, have won 12 of the last 13 games against Edmonton. Going back to 2021, it's Butler. Big carry and more. James Butler across the 45, close to the 50, and a 22-yard pickup.
It's a great double team at the point of attack for the Lions to try and spring James Butler. A double team coming here just to make sure that they take care of Jordan Williams in the middle, and patience from James Butler to press the line of scrimmage, allow that block up front to set up, and then hit the hole.
A gain of 22 last week against Calgary. Butler had 6 carries for 20 yards. He's already passed that here in the first quarter on that 1 carry. And back to him. James Butler again! Could be time to say goodbye as Gard tries to catch him, and they do. Down inside the 10. 2 big runs. Biggest of the season for Butler. And he set up BC now in a 1st and goal.
Big boys up front getting it done. They're just washing out to their left and allowing James Butler, who takes that subtle step to his right and then hits the left side B gap, and away he goes. It's between guard and tackle. Great blocking at the line of scrimmage, and even the DBs for Edmonton in chase.
A lot of the understandable hype heading into this game was a certain running back making big plays this season. Well, it's not Rankin so far. It is Butler setting him up deep, and a 1st and goal now for Rourke. Faking to Butler. And that one, he wanted Jackson, and a defender right up against him. A little bit low and incomplete 2nd down.
I think it was Joe DeBlanco again that was coming up from the linebacking core and was going to get in the face of Nathan Rourke. He steps up, goes around the edge, and just makes his arm angle change. Can't complete that one. Doesn't want to get it knocked down.
They have already passed their rushing total that they had all season. And just a couple of plays to set them up here now. 2nd and goal, and the low snap. A look to the end zone. Oh no, just beyond the fingertips there of McInnes. Ross in on the coverage, along with Jackson.
This may seem subtle, Rod, but when you have a low snap in the shotgun, for a quarterback, takes his eyes off the coverage. So one of the downsides of a shotgun is that you have to catch the ball first. And if that ball is low, that takes his eyes off the coverage, and then he just tries to throw basically double coverage by the time J.J. Ross falls underneath this corner route from McInnes. But that throws the timing.
21 years ago in this very field, the Surrey Rams won the BC Junior Championship with a kicker by the name of Sean White, now in his 17th year and back on this field to put more points on the board for BC. He later played here with Surrey against the Okanagan Sun in 2007, but he stays perfect on the season, and BC now has a 10-6 lead.
Yeah, listen, congratulations to Amar Doman, Dwayne Vanu, the president of the football team, and to all these fans in Kelowna. The panel talked about it in the pregame show, but boy, have they been great, generous with their time, wanted to say hi, talk football, a whole bunch of brand new fans, got a chance to talk to kids. The Lions stayed here between both games, had some team time, a couple of barbecues, practiced up here, and did a whole bunch of things in the community as well. So
that's terrific, and this is where it's different than any other neutral site game, that you have back-to-back games here with a week in between, and Rankin going nowhere. Lost yardage, and it's early. Darnell Sankey celebrating that, but BC is doing a very good job on number 5.
I'll tell you what, there's one guy that is tired of hearing about Justin Rankin when you're playing against him. That's Darnell Sankey, a guy that 3 times in his career has had over 100 tackles. That's a short list of players that have done that. Solomon Elimimian, one of them. Adam Big Hill, another. Former BC Lions. But Darnell Sankey, you know he's on a mission to try and control number 5.
A loss of 5 for number 5, Justin Rankin. Second and long, Fajardo. Underneath, Austin Mack. Another catch for Mack as he gets it up to about the 48. He had to get to the 50. Needed 14 yards, so just shy of a first down with a few seconds left in this first quarter.
You know, when you look at this play, when they get Justin Rankin out of the backfield, the Lions right now are tracking him immediately because he's been dangerous with the ball in his hands through the air as well. In fact, on pace, I know it's early in the season, but on pace for 1,000 yards receiving, 1,000 yards rushing. And not many done that, but right now the Lions strategically are trying to get to him immediately and shorten that space.
Last play, first quarter, and Cole Snyder in for short yardage, had to get to the 50, and it looks like he does. So quarter number 2 will begin with the Edmonton Elks trailing by 4, but with the football close to midfield. Gorgeous afternoon in Kelowna, BC, and the Lions, overall, like in the start, they have the lead at the end of a quarter for the first time this season. 10-6 ball game. Through one quarter here in Kelowna, and it's the Lions with the 10-6 lead. And Suits, I wonder if James Butler was saying, hang on with all this talk about Justin Rankin, who was minus 4 yards, and Butler's really had himself a quarter.
Well, he has. First of all, Justin Rankin was at minus 4 yards on the quarter, and that's saying something because clearly that's been a point of emphasis all week long for this BC Lion defense. But the key in this first quarter for BC and the first lead that they've had at the end of any quarter is the play of James Butler. And those big runs where they gashed that Edmonton defense that has been excellent against the run in 3 games. 22-yarder and a 54-yarder for James Butler.
And as mentioned, he had only 20 yards rushing against Calgary. And especially in the second half, they'd fallen behind by so much they'd had to abandon the running game. What a difference this time around. And for Rankin, what a difference so far. Although we've seen times where he's contained and all it takes is one carry to bust it open. Fajardo is throwing. They're down 4 to start the second quarter. Deep look again. And no, a flag is out though. Ronald Kent Jr. in the coverage on Austin Mack. Second time that Fajardo has gone deep left looking for Austin Mack.
Yeah, similar play on the corner route. Austin Mack coming out of the slot.
BC, number 21.
He gets one-on-one with Ronald Kent.
Infraction occurs.
Flips his hips.
Down Edmonton.
Let's see if there's contact early. He didn't turn to look at it. I don't think there was any contact with the hands, but you could call it face guarding, basically. You can't run with your hands in the face of the receiver for 2-3 steps. I would guess that was the reason for that call.
Ends up being a 40-yard gain by penalty. So down at the 20, Fajardo. Down inside the 10, it's caught. Turning it back is Mack and gets it down inside the 5 for a first and goal. Look at Edmonton striking quickly.
Going out to that wide out spot. Little dig route and then back to the curl. Get him on the doorstep.
Right down to the 4. Edmonton looking for its first lead. Fajardo with some heat coming, gets rid of it, intended for Mack again, and Kent right with him. No flags there as Kent breaks that one up in a second down.
Yeah, no space given here. Remember last time they were down after the turnover on the goal line the other end. The Lions secondary gave up a ton of room underneath for an easy touchdown to Julian Grant. This time, Kent right on Mack. In fact, playing physical with him inside that 5-yard zone. Good defensive play.
Ronald Kent, third year at Central Michigan. Second and goal. More pressure coming. Fajardo to the end zone again. Edmonton touchdown. Keon Julian Grant has another. His first 2 touchdowns of the season here in the first half in Kelowna.
Nice corner route. They're going to push Rankin to the flat, and you know that's going to draw some attention from the BC defense. With Rankin out there, they're going to pull some eyes towards number 5, and look how wide open Julian Grant is in the back of the end zone. Again, great decisions, Rod, from Cody Fajardo. Reading the defense, going to his second option on that corner route, who's wide open.
And they missed the extra point on that last Julian Grant touchdown, so to make it up, they're going for 2 now, leading by 2. Trying to open it up to 4 points. The 4-man rush, end zone again, they've got it. 2-point conversion, and it's TJ Luther who caught the winning touchdown for Edmonton last week against the Blue Bombers in Winnipeg, and it makes it a 14-10 ball game. Right back came the Elks. Big penalty, big passing plays, and a touchdown. Another for Keon Julian Grant.
Take a look at the concept here with Justin Rankin coming out of the backfield and a quick corner route here from Julian Grant. And defenders for the BC Lions, there's 2 of them on the outside. One has to take the flat route, which he does. The other, though, this one right here, has got an issue with his eyes in the wrong place. His eyes are on Justin Rankin. He's covered already. And that's why Julian Grant is open with that space at the back of the end zone.
So Edmonton was down, but not very long, and Keon Julian Grant in his second year with the Edmonton Elks. Ball falls off the tee for Vincent Blanchard.
And the decision making for Cody Fajardo to kind of rope-a-dope it with the game plan that has worked for 3 straight games, and now to make adjustments on the fly with the control that the Lions defense had on Justin Rankin in the first quarter.
As mentioned, Rankin with 3 carries for -4 yards so far in this game. Here's Williams on the return, fumbles the football, and near disaster in special teams for the BC Lions there. The new returner Williams hit, it popped out, and a new addition there. That's Ladarius Tennyson for the Edmonton Elks.
I'll tell you what, if you're an Edmonton fan right now, you love this team for a couple of reasons. One is, yes, they're 3-0. That's the main reason. But another one is just their level of physicality. I mean, they are hitting people on the teams and on defense. They've given up a couple of big runs, but don't get caught in their crosshairs.
That was Richard Gibonor coming in, and the big hit that forced it out. And so it is still BC football roar. And he completes that one up to the 35 of the Lions. It's caught by Jermaine Jackson, who had mentioned a big game last week against Calgary.
Let me show you what I mean about this physicality. This is the way the game started basically last week against Winnipeg with Jordan Williams on Brady Oliveira. Now, we've covered a lot of Brady Oliveira games.
Rourke under pressure and nearly completes a beautiful one there to Butler. Falls incomplete.
We've covered a lot of Brady Oliveira games. I've never seen him hit like that.
No.
And that created a turnover, turned into 3 points, and started the comeback. And now we saw Blanco in this game with that big hit. He caused the interception. Nice knockdown there by DeBlanco. He's having himself a game already. But just a couple of examples of this team. That's a team that Edmonton fans are going to love.
Joel DeBlanco, top draft pick in the CFL in 2024, and took a bit of time. Niles Morgan there and Nick Anderson in that linebacking core, but he's earned a spot. Rourke deep right. Oh, Cotton brought down on the far side for a beautiful catch there for Nick Senecal, who had a breakout game against Hamilton back in week 3.
The timing on this, it's a game of inches and a game of split seconds. Tyrell Ford was coming downhill on that.
Was an incomplete pass. Incomplete pass.
Let's take a look again at that, because they ruled this that it wasn't a catch. Both teams were moving as if it was. Let's see, he only needs one. He's got control now. I think that's a catch.
Looks like it. Looks like 1 foot is still touching down when he has control of that football.
Buck Pierce may want to challenge this. Because that toe.
Again, the ruling on the field was an incomplete pass. It will be third down.
We don't see it. There we go.
There we
Buck
go.
Pierce is going to challenge this one.
Control gained here, right now. Toe tap with the right toe and maintains possession to the ground. Looks like a catch.
Buck Pierce chatting with the referee, Andre Prue.
BC is challenging the ruling on the field of an incomplete pass. They believe the pass was caught. The play will be
The replay center will have a look on a big play for BC with the Lions now trailing. This will get them up closer to midfield. The result coming up.
Real good challenge for Buck Pierce here. First of all, because he's taking a look at this. He's got the word from above in the spotter's booth that toe is in and control gained just before it. So it looks like he's going to win the challenge, but it's a good one for momentum reasons as well.
They take a look, and here's the result.
Upon review by the replay center, the ruling on the field is overturned to a completed pass. It will be BC first down on their own 53-yard line.
And a gain of 18 and a good challenge there for Buck Pierce. The first catch for Senecal, who really made quite a debut in Hamilton in a losing cause back in week 3 when he had 120 yards receiving late in that ball game against the Ticats with a couple of touchdowns as well. Senecal had 3 for 21 last week against Calgary. That 18-yarder has him up near midfield. BC down 4. That's caught by Jermaine Jackson. He joined the offense with all the injuries to the receiving door and gets 7 and has a few words for his friends over there on the Edmonton sideline.
A little trash talking going over there. That's okay. You know, when you're ahead on the scoreboard, the trash talking is much more fun because you finish every trash talk with, "Hey guy, look at the scoreboard."
Yeah.
You're not winning.
Maybe a little less of it now that the sidelines are opposite sides of the field. I know a lot of stadiums did have that anyway, but nice little chat, catching up. Jermaine Jackson, give him 8 yards on that. It's like 2 to go. And the run there for Xander Horvath, who had a short yardage touchdown for the Lions, and he picks up the first down. 3 more yards, so they're in the Elks zone now, down around the 46 of Edmonton.
Real nice block out here to secure the edge from his partner James Butler, and then patience at the hole, jump cut, and then just get what's necessary to move the chains.
Xander Horvath, and what a valuable asset to this Lions offense. As mentioned, he'll step in at quarterback for short yardage, used as a running back, as a receiver too. He had a receiving touchdown last week, one of his 2 against Calgary. Nathan Rourke going to work quickly but incomplete. That was intended for Hergy Mayala, who is playing his 2nd game with BC. Last week he had a touchdown catch with the Lions.
Kenneth Logan was a half step away from taking that. Coming inside out, a little bit of an opening, and I think Nathan Rourke was trying to throw his receiver open, pulling him closer to the middle, but Kenneth Logan wasn't too far off. He was a half a step away.
To become their fixture at nickel linebacker at Sam for that Elks defense in his 2nd year. Logan, 2nd down and 10. Rourke has time, deep left, open 2 and caught. And a big first down for the BC Lions. It is Hergy Mayala, who had already beat his totals all last year with the Argos in receiving in 7 games, and that 1 game last week against the Stamps.
4-man pressure. I gave you 5 numbers, but 4-man pressure for the Edmonton Elks up front.
Back on the ground to Butler, who busted off 2 big runs in that touchdown drive they had late in the first quarter, and not as much that time as Jared Brinkman looks to be slow to get out.
Big throw from Rourke deep in the pocket. I'm not sure he could even see Hergy Mayala on this deep out, this 26-yarder, but he knew exactly where he should be, and his receiver was there.
O'Rourke has seen a lot of changes in his receiving core because of all of the injuries. Has Hatcher and McInnes back, but still without Javon Catoy and Kieran Poisson. Seven McGee injured in their first game in Saskatchewan, and Stanley Berryhill as well. The injured ball player now is defensive tackle Jared Brinkman of the Edmonton Elks. Be back at the Apple Bowl. Touchdown Kelowna here on TSN. The injured ball player for Edmonton is Jared Brinkman. Solid defensive tackle. Here's what happened, Suits.
Yeah, it looked like friendly fire from DeBlanco here. Catches him as they try to rally to James Butler. Mark Killam, from his roster construction, dresses 10 defensive linemen for the rotation. A team that did that quite often last year, Saskatchewan Roughriders, that won it all.
By the way, DeBlanco's hitting everything that moves out there today.
He is all over the field.
See Noah Taylor in there at end. Tamari Fox on the inside in Brinkman's spot. Noah Curtis as well. 2nd and 7. And off to the right for the first down. Just there. Senecal adds more and gets closer to the end zone. Nick Senecal with his second catch of this drive and gets BC that much closer.
Yeah, Senecal on this catch uses a little bit of patience. And that's a tough catch to make. It doesn't look like it because it's an out. He's open on the sideline. He just dives out there and waits against his own look. And that time where the ball is in flight gets you thinking, gets you inside your head. He was patient, took it, made a couple extra moves. Are inside the 5.
They are another 1st and goal. The last time they were this close, this late first quarter, they get down to the 4, and they have had a short yardage touchdown, I should say. BC has. The handoff, pushing, and a touchdown for James Butler. Much better day for number 20 BC as the Lions have their lead back.
So a little more to the short yardage playbook. When they keep Nate O'Rourke in there, it's basically they're just running their offense with the big guys up front. Made a couple of people miss in this one, James Butler.
3rd rushing touchdown of the season for Butler, and that point after is blocked. And it's picked up too by Leak, who just takes it out of the end zone. But more special teams problems, and that was certainly one. And there's an old special teams coach with many years of the Calgary Stampeders, and the other side loving that. As once again, a point after is denied in this ball game.
I think it's blocked right down the middle. Was that Noah Curtis? Getting the big mid up there. Didn't catch the number, but it looked like it was right down Main Street. Here's the touchdown.
Ryan Phillips, you talked about sort of by committee after they made a change, relieving Corey McDermott, the special teams coordinator, last week.
Yeah, they're going to get that sorted out. They're going by committee right now. Everybody takes a team and works on that, but makes it a 2-point game.
There's Noah Curtis, who got the arm up and blocked the Sean White extra point try. So Edmonton in that end had missed an extra point, and now BC has. It's a 16-14 Lions lead.
That's really the only way Sean White misses.
I was going to say. Block that time. He'd been 7 for 7 in extra points coming into this game. Meyer with the kickoff, taken down by Leak at the 10. Javon Leak heads to the right, cuts it back up, looking for a bit more space, and is finally swarmed and taken down just before the 35-yard line of Edmonton.
So every game is a different journey, and when you look at the stats coming into this game, this is what Justin Rankin had done over 3 games. 387 yards, first by over 100 yards to the second place Dedrick Mills from Calgary. And so far in this game, -4. But it evolves. The game plan changes depending on what the defense is doing.
Faking to Rankin. Dumping it off to the right to Julian Grant. Good pickup for Julian Grant to get a first down by the looks of things, right around the 45. 11 for 11, and has already got a couple of touchdowns in this game.
Not sure if this trip from Julian Grant was by design when he comes across the formation like this. Just kind of trying to, but the attention to Justin Rankin when he doesn't have the ball equally as important. That's one of the reasons that Julian Grant's been open, not only on that touchdown on the short corner, but that play right there.
1st and 10, Cody Fajardo. His second year with Edmonton. And this time it's Rankin. Takes it, and Adam Konar is among the Lions in on that tackle and limiting Rankin's gain again. I mean, credit BC's defense so far, the job that they have done on Rankin.
Well, what it does too, though, is it gives Cody Fajardo in the passing game just a little bit more time, maybe one more second to throw, because with the D-line and linebackers so locked in to Justin Rankin, they're not getting into pass rush mode immediately, getting up the field like they're shot out of a cannon. They got to check for the run and then go. That extra second gives Cody time to throw it.
2nd down and long. Fajardo and the Elks trailing in this game. Pressure coming. He steps up. He is taken down. Hayden Harris among the Lions to get some heat there on Fajardo. Harris in his second year with BC, and the Elks are going to have to kick it away.
Well, on this one, Fajardo doesn't turn to his tailback in Rankin to fake it to him in any way. Rankin stepping up to pick up the blitz from Deontay Williams. He does that well, but the rest of the group gets home.
So Jake Julian to punt inside the Edmonton 30 from Barrie, Ontario. Julian, and that punt to Jaden Williams in his first game as a returner, and makes a move, makes one miss and another. He keeps his feet. Jaden Williams across the 35 and 40, and a good return for Williams. I said special teams in the spotlight for BC. They'll certainly take that.
Committee can work. Nice blocking at the point of attack. Nice decision by that BC Lion right at the point where Williams caught the football to not make a block. Sometimes that decision is equally as important. You don't get a clip.
Broke that tackle by Richard Gibonor, and he was off to the races, up to the 48 now with BC. 38-yard return for the new returner in his second CFL game, Jaden Williams. Here's Nathan Rourke now. Over the middle. Caught for the first down. Keon Hatcher and more. Pushed out of bounds by J.J. Ross, but not before he goes far into the Elks zone. A gain of 33 yards.
What a great play design by Buck Pearson, this offense, to get Nathan Rourke and get a one-on-one with his top receiver, Keon Hatcher. He rolled away from that play, rolls the opposite direction. That gives Keon Hatcher time to work his route, be patient on it. That's tough to cover in a one-on-one on the backside when you're the only receiver in that much room on the field.
Keon Hatcher, the CFL's leading receiver in yardage a year ago, and faking back to the ground, and that is Jermaine Jackson with the ball, and another good pickup to get it down closer to the 20.
This play they've run a few times in this game this afternoon. Fake it inside to Butler, who's had a couple of big runs, and then flip it out to Jackson on the fly.
So a 7-yard pickup, a 2nd and 3, getting closer to the 3-minute warning here in the first half. Touchdown Kelowna 2. Xander Horvath breaks through, and Terrell Ford has to prevent a touchdown. Short yardage and some good yardage to get it down near the 10, and another first down for BC.
Xander Horvath has to make himself skinny in the hole. Get skinny, get small here, and then squeeze through there to protect the football, and then get your head up and try and get home. And Terrell Ford, as you said, saves a touchdown.
You made the point about BC in their first 3 games, how they fell behind in the first half, and it was a hard hole to dig out of. Well, right now they have the lead. They're threatening for more. In the second trip to the Apple Bowl on a beautiful day in Kelowna, BC. Coming up at halftime, Kate Burness in the panel, working hard, getting ready to talk about this game. Yeah. Oh, Burness. Yeah, she's ready to go. You know, it wasn't going to be anything with a mascot now because Leo is dead to her. So she's just enjoying her time in the crowd. Little crowd surfing there, getting ready for that.
Rock star. She is an absolute rock star.
Oh, is she ever. Heard her talking to Farhan now. She wants to
move up.
Yeah, join him, stay in BC. What a great time. Many of you staying out here for the week in between the games between the Stampeders and the Elks. What a wonderful week here in Kelowna. And a first down now and 10 to go, but they're close to the end zone. It's Rourke late in the half, off to Butler, looking for another touchdown, and a good touchdown saving tackle there by Joel DeBlanco, but a 4-yard pickup.
Yeah, Rourke had to hold on to that football. He didn't. This was a check down. He was looking downfield, in fact looking to his left, and then realized that pocket was collapsing. It was Jordan Williams again lowering the boom. He had to pay the price there, but gets it inside the 5.
Xander Horvath has a touchdown and Butler has a touchdown, and BC pressing for another one here on a 2nd and 3. 2:44 in the clock until halftime. Rourke handing off. Butler! Touchdown number 2. Lions find the end zone again and increase their lead before halftime.
Riley Pickett in at tight end. Hatcher over there trying to help at the point of attack. Little peek from James Butler, and he says, only one guy can get me, that guy off the edge. He jumps through that tackle. Lions add to the lead.
Much different story in this game so far as halftime beckons. Sean White's point after try was blocked just a few minutes ago the last time around. This time, no problem. And the lead is up to 23-14. 9 points ahead are the BC Lions, and touchdown Kelowna, part 2.
James Butler having himself a game in this first half. Couple of touchdowns, couple of big runs. Those big runs pay off in the second half when you go to play action. You're Nathan Rourke. Riley Pickett at tight end seals the deal. Only one guy off the edge, a chance to get to Butler.
A 5-play, 62-yard drive in just a little over 2 minutes, and for Butler, 7 carries, 86 yards, and 2 touchdowns. Yeah, a running back has been a big story in this game. Perhaps not the one we thought it would be. Although Butler is a former league rushing leader and off to a slower start. He was 8th in rushing, by the way, coming into this game, and I'm sure he'll be moving up. See Carter Kettle back there with Javon Lake. Still lots of time for the Elks to get back on the board again and cut into this lead. It's 9 points, and on the tackle for the BC Lions there, it's Dawson Pierre inserted into the lineup on special teams.
So if you're Cody Fajardo and the Elks, your most productive player all season has been under control so far by the BC defense. Do you go back to it in the second half, or do you keep evolving and just saying, hey, we'll just leave him in as a blocker, check down guy if we need him? But the Lions are trying to take that away as well and just throw the ball.
Well, the Lions historically have done a very good job defensively on rank, and of course this season had a different look in this first meeting of the season. Little pump fake, and Fajardo looking, it's knocked away, and it's picked off. Jackson Finley got the deflection, takes it down to the 30, and the Lions may not be done yet before halftime.
Well, this is what I meant when I talked to Ryan Phillips, who's in charge of the defensive secondary and the pass game defense. And I thought, has it just not, like, how can you go 3 games without something like this happening where it goes off a receiver's hands or is tipped by a linebacker underneath and it just tips into a pick, and he said, I don't know, man, this is driving him nuts. Cody Fajardo makes a good call, but that play on the inside tipped right there.
Adam Konar.
Yes, sir. Underneath by Adam Konar. Sells out to get his hands on that ball, and Jackson Finley in the right place at the right time.
Not only the first interception for BC's defense this season, the first turnover they've forced.
Yes.
Down to the 31. Still lots of time. 2:20 on the clock. Faking to Butler, getting it to Jackson, who spins and picks up a few yards.
Well, you know, when you're an 0-3 team coming in and your defense has been under the gun all season long, self-doubt starts to creep into it. There's no question. That's every player, even veteran players. They have to fight self-doubt, and a play like this can turn it all around in a heartbeat. All of a sudden, you believe again that it can happen.
BC Lions finally force a turnover, getting that interception. Finley after the deflection by Konar. 2nd down and 5, and knocked down at the line on that pass attempt by Nathan Rourke. So 3rd and 5 is coming up.
This defense, and Mike Benavides on the hot seat. Many people, Lions fans, thinking that the Lions may have fired the wrong coach after the loss to Calgary. They fired their special teams coordinator and thought it should have been Mike Benavides. He's hanging in there. This was the ranking coming into this game after 3 for the Lions. And they were giving up big plays. And against Hamilton, it was out of the gate. They believe they have some very good talent that can play much better, and they've had a great half. Their best half of the season on defense.
33-yard attempt for more points for BC, so they do get points off the turnover. Another field goal for Sean White, who remains perfect in that department. And we got a 26-14 lead for the BC Lions with 1:49 until halftime. Well, your favorite summer obsession is back, and the heat is on. New singles, wild twists, even more jaw-dropping drama. Love Island USA, stream now, only on Crave. Back here in beautiful Kelowna, BC, in the heart of the Okanagan. Rod Smith, Glenn Suter, Farhan Lalji, Kate and the paneler here. You'll hear from them soon. Great day and looking better for the BC Lions by the minute as they continue to swarm Rankin. A short completion there and getting a few more yards here, but a 2nd down coming up. Call that 1-5, excuse me, for Brendan O'Leary-Orange.
Brendan O'Leary-Orange is going to shoot the flat here from the other side, but as soon as Rankin comes out of the backfield, one of the Lions defenders, whether he goes left or right in a swing pass or push to the flat, the Lion defender is closing the gap immediately.
Fajardo shovels it off to Rankin, breaks free, across the 50, close to midfield, and he'd been contained all game. That's his biggest pickup of this first half, and it's enough for an Edmonton 1st down.
Yeah, and just a little flash in front of Jackson Finley is the reason that he gets a little space on this, because Finley has been getting right to him as he's come out of the backfield, but he's a little bit late there because he had a receiver flash right in front of him.
Fajardo off to Rankin to the left. Got him in space, turns it up. He gets across midfield, but more good tackling for the Lions.
I think Jordan Maxim has got to go back to him. I mean, keep Rankin involved somehow. And one of the ways is to get him out there further away from the box in sort of a double screen position or a bubble screen.
So a 2nd and 7 is coming up here for Edmonton. Fajardo. Deep, knocked away. Coming across. That was intended for Julian Grant, and it's C.J. Colden in his first year on the field side corner, the former Ottawa Red Black, with a big play for BC.
Yeah, 17 games for Ottawa, so he does have some experience. And this is what the Lions have been missing. On the deep ball especially, they've had guys in position all season long, but they just haven't made this play. Colden goes up over top, plays the football, keeps it out of the hands. Cody Fajardo thought he was a little early.
Are they thinking about a challenge here late in the first half?
Edmonton is challenging the previous play They believe there was defensive pass interference on their receiver number 11. The play will be reviewed.
Well, let's take another look. Julian Grant down the seam. He's open there, or at least he feels like he is, and so does Fajardo think he is. It's pretty heavy contact as he went up for the ball, and it may have been a tad early.
Looked like he did arrive just before the ball did. Another look at it.
Now, the replay center is going to look at this in real motion, in normal motion. Not going to look at it in slow motion. Although, when you see it, because when you see it in slow motion, when it's a bang-bang, that contact's okay.
Well, when you see it at game speed, it looks like he timed it up just perfectly. Replay center's seen it. Here's what they've decided.
Upon review by the replay center, there was defensive pass interference on BC number 3. The ball will be placed at the 24-yard line. First down, Edmonton.
Close, but ruled PI against C.J. Colton, the BC Lions.
Yeah, I think Colton's making an argument that he was playing the ball, so the contact was incidental, but it was early, and you could see Julian Grant, his body went sideways, was affected by that early bump, and I think they got the call right.
28-yard pickup by penalty for pass interference down to the Lions 24. Edmonton trailing by 12. Under a minute to go till halftime. Fajardo off to the left and just a bit too high and far for Austin Mack as it heads out of bounds. He can't reach up and grab that one.
Cody Fajardo had to chuck it and duck it here. Yeah, it was like chuck and duck because pressure was coming, just 4-man, but it was coming from the outside. Matthew Betts was taking his defensive tackle and Bordner right into Cody Fajardo. A throw just off.
The Elks 3 for 7 on second downs. They have a 2nd and 10 here. They're in field goal range, of course, but looking for more here. 47 seconds to go. A look to the end zone. Caught. Touchdown, Edmonton. Austin Mack. And just like that, the Elks come right back and get it to within a score.
When your quarterback is Cody Fajardo, you're not out of football games. It can be a 2-score game, a 3-score game. Early in the half, we're late in the first half with a half to go. Cody Fajardo is going to keep him in it. This throw behind is perfect. Back shoulder throw to Austin Mack. That chemistry didn't take long, did it? From back to the 23 year where they won the Grey Cup, and Austin Mack and that Montreal football team with Cody Fajardo at quarterback, the MVP of the Grey Cup that year.
What a combination that was as Blanchard gets the point after. But yeah, this is the 3rd time this season in Edmonton that Fajardo and Mack have connected for a touchdown, as they did, as you talked about, back in especially 2023 when they went on to win it all.
1,000-yard season for Austin Mack that year, and Fajardo is the quarterback in Edmonton. Austin Mack wants to be there. That throw behind ideal. C.J. Colton wasn't sure where the ball was. Trying as a defensive back here to play the receiver's body language in action and his eyes in some ways. If the eyes get big and he reaches back for the ball, that's when you make your turn and try to knock it down. But Austin Mack was patient with it. Throw behind was there. Cody Fajardo keeps his team in games.
Well, when the Alouettes released him in the offseason before his bonus kicked in, Cody Fajardo was calling him a lot, trying to get him to sign on. Knowing what he can do, that caps off a 7-play, 70-yard drive, and the pass interference call picked up a good chunk of that yardage too. But Mack, a very meaningful game, especially against the Alouettes back in week 3. When he had a touchdown in that one. He's got one here. It's a 26-21 game. 41 seconds on the clock. And then we'll head down to Kate Burness and the panel for their thoughts on this one. And this great day in Kelowna on the return. Another good return looming here for Jaden Williams as he gets that one up just across the 35. And Nathan Rourke, 15-21, 184. Picked off once, but BC impressively able to move the football earlier on in this game compared to some of the other ones.
Yeah, early, and if they can hold this lead and don't turn the ball over here, they go in for the first time all season with the lead after any quarter. So they'll have the lead after the second quarter, and I think the difference for them offensively has been James Butler and his contributions to this offense, either through the air or running the ball.
There's 2 big runs in the first quarter that led them down for a touchdown, and not much there for Butler. The Elks have that one wrapped up. 29 seconds to go till halftime.
Some people will say just chuck it deep.
Yeah.
You're 0-3, why not?
And they get close enough for a field goal try even. Up near the 50, and that's Jermaine Jackson, who's had a busy first half. And they called upon him back with all the injuries at the start of the season.
And those that are saying that, that's exactly what Nathan Rourke's thinking. Get him on the line and see if you can get in field goal range.
That was his 6th catch, and then a shorter one. That's to Hergy Mayala, who had a bigger one earlier, but up to the 50, but only 18 seconds.
2 plays, 3 plays possibly.
And they do, Suits, have the breeze at their back for Sean White if they can just get it
15 yards.
15 yards closer. Take a shot at it, 4-man rush. And no, looking for McInnes, who wants PI, and a flag comes out. Appears to be on Cordell Jackson.
Well, that stops the clock and puts it in field goal range. Maybe time
defensive pass interference. Edmonton, number 13. The ball will be placed where the infraction occurred. First down.
A 19-yard penalty against Cordell Jackson, who was flagged earlier for what we thought was a clean hit, knocking a player out of bounds.
There's the contact, well past 5 yards. Just an issue with the placement of the ball.
The infraction occurred on the 45-yard line. The ball will be brought back to the 45 and a first down.
So that was 5 extra yards. The ball was placed in the wrong position on the 40. So they move it back to the 45, putting a little more pressure on that guy right there to try and make a longer one. But as you mentioned, breeze at his back. And maybe one more play, Nathan Rourke can squeeze in there before a field goal attempt.
Sean White, one of the best of all time, career long is 55, and be well within that with 6 seconds on the clock. That one caught by Hatcher to get it down around the 32, 33-yard line. Sean White is coming on. 2 for 2 in this game, and perfect on the season coming in at 7-4-7.
But one blocked.
But one of them, that extra point was blocked earlier. You're right. And this would give them an 8-point lead should he get this one. Just around the left hash for White. Carl Meyer to put it down right at the Edmonton 40. Last play of the first half. Lions looking for 3 more points. White. Expect anything else? From the former Surrey Ram, mentioned kicked on this field as a junior way back then in his 17th season in the CFL now.
Great hold by Meyer.
Certainly was. Special teams working better, by the way, overall for the BC Lions in this one, except for that block on the point after. The South African Carl Meyer, the punter, and yes, in on the hold. So we got halftime, and James Butler, big first half, standing by now with Farhan.
JB, you've got an 8-point lead at halftime. You haven't led it at halftime at any point this season. Given what you've been through, what does it feel like to be in this position?
Feels great, but we got to finish. You know what I'm saying? Like I told you earlier, we got to do 4 quarters, all 3 phases, complementary football. So we got to finish.
We know the run game is going well, over 80 yards for you on the ground, over 110 all-purpose. You haven't been this involved thus far this season. Why is it working?
O-line. Got to give it to the O-line. Obviously, having Nate back there, we always got a chance, and I think we got the best receiving corps in the league.
Thanks for this, JB.
Thank you.
Kate, they led after one quarter. They're leading at halftime. Can the Lions finish?
But Farhan, so much talk about James Butler and how he would contribute in this game. Coming in, he had only had 117 yards total in 2 TDs. And maybe it's playing in this incredible environment in front of all these BC fans, but he is having himself a day. Back alongside Enoch Mwamba, Davis Sanchez, Milt Stegall. And we had 50 points put up in the first half. How can you not love the CFL after seeing that first half of football? But let's go back to James Butler. I just mentioned the stats, Milt, that he had on the season. He's got 86 yards on the ground and 2 TDs already in this one, and we spoke about him in pregame. He needed to have a big one today, and that's exactly what's happening.
And before I get on James Butler, I just want to piggyback on what you just talked about, that 50 points and the great play we had in that first half. Nathan Rourke, Cody Fajardo, they're balling, but James Butler is balling. And remember when you guys played, and both of you guys and I was at the top of our game, and there was that one player at that position they was talking about all year long, balling out, and you got tired of it and said, okay, I'm a baller too, don't forget about me. And I'm sure James Butler felt the same way. He's like, what about me? I rushed for more yards than Rankin last year. I had over 1,200 yards. I can ball too. I've had over 1,000 yards 3 times in my career. I'm going to show you why I'm still the guy. And that's what he's done so far in this first half. He's had a great first half, over 86 yards rushing, 2 touchdowns, almost 30 yards receiving. He's saying, don't forget about me, and I can get it done. So with the way Nathan Rourke is playing, with the way James Butler is playing, their defense is playing okay, these BC Lions may be on the way to their first victory, and they need that because you don't want to start the season 0-4 and have a bye week next week because there's a chance some of these guys won't return. So good job by James Butler, good job by the BC Lions, but they got to come out in the second half and finish it.
Yeah, you said it, Miller. We've been talking about it as ex-players. I can promise you, we've been talking about it. Going in 0-4 to a bye week. I mean, I'm being sarcastic, but Nathan Rourke might be worried at going in. Again, I'm being sarcastic, but I'll say this. Desperation sometimes can turn into determination, and that's what we saw with this team coming out. There was no question. We saw the physicality of this team, BC early, and that's how they slowed down Justin Rankin. Justin Rankin right now is no doubt the big play guy. He's physical. He's going to bust one. He's got 3 carries for -4 yards. Remember, BC's missing a starting linebacker as well. But, Enoch, you can understand this, relate to this. Physicality and energy, you can overcome a lot with those things. So, yes, they're down a player, but they have that physicality, they have that energy. And also, I wanted to say, that interception, very interesting, because the guy that got the tip, his dad, a former CFL player, Kevin Konar, Adam Konar. The guy that caught the pick, Jackson Finley, his dad, Anthony Finley, also played in CFL.
It's a family affair.
Very cool on that play, but their secondary, they made some plays. They've been a group that we talked about. They've been much better in the offensive line. Huge holes for JB, and also great protection for Nathan Rourke. So some units that need to improve have definitely done that.
Yeah, you talk about the physicality that this game demands. Well, you look at the defense for the Edmonton Elks. You look at Joel DeBlanco. He brought the physicality. I love this hit. This is the type of stuff that gets me excited, Davis. Look at this hit right here when the ball is in the air, just lingering, and when he's in perfect position, and the big hit, and you see the instinct by Jabome. But look at that hit right there.
What do you call that one?
Table banger.
It's a table banger, but it's the best one of the night. But you look at Jordan McSimic and the approach that he's been taking as well. He's done a great job. He knows that Nick Anderson, who's the heart and soul of this Edmonton's defense, is not there. Young linebackers are in there. They've done a good job in the pass coverage, but now in the run game, this is where James Butler has been effective. But it's been because of the play calling as well. There's right there, you see an offensive tackle that goes, and now there's a big hole that opens up. The linebackers have to keep their eyes on the prize. You see the defensive linemen have to be communicative as well. But those holes, if they continue to open up like that, Milt, you talked about it, James Butler is going to have a big game and take a lot of pressure out of Nathan Rourke. And this offense is going to take this team to their first win.
Yeah, and I want to mention Cody Fajardo again. You know, coming to this game, it was all about Justin Rankin. I even said if Justin Rankin is not going, his offense is not going. Well, Justin Rankin is not going, but his offense is still going because Cody Fajardo can get it done. He doesn't need to throw for 300-400 yards. He needs to be efficient, and that's exactly what's going on. He's having a great first half. You know, their running game is not working, their screen game is not working, but Cody Fajardo is making some great throws. Mack is having some catches, making some plays. So this team can go without Justin Rankin. Of course, you want him to keep going, but they can still get it done.
Now, let's look at the second half now. You said, you know, BC, obviously we understand what they're going into here. The key for the first half, I think, is where BC, if they want to win the second half, the key for them is the balance. They have to stay. They throw the ball more than anyone else in the CFL because they've been forced to. And that's where you turn the ball over.
Right.
That's when your defense gets tired. BC's balanced in the first half. They have to keep running JPJ, keep them fresh, and also keep from turnovers.
You talk about balance. Where is Justin Rankin right now? The BC defense has done a great job of maintaining and keeping him in check. But this second half, you know their offense is going to want to hand him the ball. It's always tough when you're behind to run the ball, but they're still going to have to give him the ball.
Don't force it to him, no.
Don't force it. But he's still got to touch the ball. He's still got to touch the ball.
Is anyone surprised by Austin Mack coming out in this game, too? We've been waiting for this a little bit here, too. But the connection between him and Cody tonight seems to be completely on.
Yes, without a doubt. Kate, we don't have any more time. You got to go to break, Kate.
We got to go to break.
Oh,
you know
let me take him to break.
I want you to take the break. That's
well,
right.
We're going to break. Kate was tunnel surfing, whatever she was doing.
It's called crowd surfing, Mel. Crowd surfing.
Silver.
It's about to go down. It's about to go down. Everybody get loud. Just watch us go over to the top. Leave them all in shock. Bringing it hot. It's about to go down. Just watch us go. It's about to blow. Just watch us go. It's about to go down.
Bo Levi Mitchell, Zach Collaros. Which of the two QBs do you have more faith in? Both being over 35 years old. Age is just a number, right?
Down towards the end zone. Touchdown. That's why Bo's a Hall of Famer.
Was there ever a doubt?
Zach down the field.
He's trying to bring his team right back to the top of the mound.
Well, it will be two future Hall of Famers going head-to-head on Sunday night. Bo Levi Mitchell with 161 games started and 112 wins against Zach Collaros, 146 games started with 90 wins. This never gets old, gentlemen.
No, without a doubt. Some well-seasoned vets still getting it done. It's going to be another great game, I promise you.
Yeah. Which one is going to make mistakes and which one is going to be great? It's going to be good to see.
I feel like this week has been 12 days long. That's what
and
I feel
I'd do
like.
another 12 days if I could. As long as we can stay in Kelowna, I'm completely. But look at this. Milt took this from his chopper, by the way. Great shot, Milton. He's the mayor of Kelowna now.
Shut up, kid.
Halftime in Kelowna, the Lions do have the lead by 8 points. Stunning stat, Edmonton -1 yards in rushing. They've been getting some great performances, though, from some of their players on defense, like Joel DeBlanco, standing by now with Farhan.
Joel Mark Killam tells me the big emphasis for you guys is always being behind your pads when you hit. It looked like that on the interception. Take me through that play. Linebackers got to love that.
Yeah, you know, just a quick game. Saw the quarterback come back over the middle, just trigger and make the play, and the ball popped up, and good things happened. The ball's in the air for us.
What about defensively? James Butler's been able to have some success in the middle of your defense, and 29 points allowed is not something that's happened. What hasn't worked, and what do you need to improve?
We just got to improve our run fits. Like you said, fit behind our pads and continue to fix some mistakes as we go along in this game. We took their best shot, and we're ready to regroup and keep firing and keep swinging. That's our team. We punches and counter punches. We can win all different types of ways, so we know it's going to come down to the end of this game. We're going to make the plays at the end of the game.
Thanks for this.
Yep, thank you.
BC Lions coming into the second half of a ball game with the lead. First time this season that's happened. They will kick off. Edmonton gets the ball first. Carl Meyer with the ball at the 30, and Javon Leake and Carter Kettle are back to receive it. BC by 8. Second half begins. Shorter kick down at the 30 for Leake. Goes to his right, and a good tackle there in the open field. Coming in to get him with Cody Fajardo coming on now to get things started offensively.
So the Lions are keyed into Justin Rankin, and Cody Fajardo says, that's okay, I'll go to the air. A couple deep throws to Austin Mack. That chemistry back on from their Montreal days. Julian Grant with a couple of touchdowns. You got Cody Fajardo, you're in the game. You got a chance. This game is a long way from over.
Fajardo coming in, 12 of 18, 143, 3 touchdown passes. Throwing here, and a nice little catch to the right for Leake, who turns it up. Not the easiest thing to do with one hand to scoop it in that situation, but make something out of it in a first down for Edmonton.
Yeah, great add to the offense if you can sprinkle in a little bit of Javon Leak. I mean, he's got great speed when you get him in the open field. Nice little casual one-hand catch for a 16-yard gain.
Known mostly for special teams and returning. He was the CFL Special Teams Player of the Year back in 2023 before signing on with the Elks, his third season with Edmonton. And out of the backfield picks up the first down. Fajardo. And off to the right again to Rankin. Trying to get number 5 going, who takes a pop by Deontay Williams. Out of bounds right near the first down marker again for the Elks.
Yeah, this is a way to get the ball into Rankin's hands. He's looked like he's going to come and block here, and then he shoots out the other side. You know that Jordan Maksimic, the offensive coordinator for Edmonton, went in there at halftime and said, okay, we've got to get creative here on how we get the ball in number 5's hands.
His third catch and a hard hit there by Williams out of bounds. It's enough. Gain of 10 exactly. First down just over midfield at the 52 of BC, and Fajardo has time. Another deep shot to the left, and it's intercepted. Another pick for the BC Lions, who had none coming in. But on that throw for Keon Julian Grant a little far, and Ronald Kent has picked up his first INT of the season.
Sometimes it's the quarterback is off on his throw, sometimes it's pressure, and sometimes the receiver coming out of his break doesn't believe he's the primary or doesn't see it. Julian Grant coming out of his corner break here, he slows down, he gears down for a half a step, and that allows Ronald Kent to go underneath it and pick that football off. That was Julian Grant coming out of his break. He wasn't sure that it was him, so he geared it down, and that's the reaction when the receiver puts the brakes on.
So second time in the game and season, BC is an interception. Starting from their 22, that's nearly given right back. On that play intended for Keon Hatcher, and it was Kobe Williams coming over with a shot for an Edmonton interception.
One of the biggest plays in the Lions offense in their passing game is, whether it's Justin McInnes or Keon Hatcher, is those benders. They go down the field 12 to 15 yards, bend around the linebackers or the halfbacks, and they catch it right over the middle. And that's one thing that Nathan Rourke loves to throw to both these guys, Keon Hatcher or McInnes. You know that the Edmonton Elks have scouted that.
So a near pick for the Elks, who still don't have one on the season, and throwing quickly on second down and long, but no. This back to the line of scrimmage at the 22 for Justin McInnes. So a good stand for Edmonton's defense, and the first 2 and out in this game for the BC Lions.
Yeah, the Elks don't have an interception like the Lions didn't. The difference is the Elks were tops in the league in creating turnovers. In that Winnipeg game, how many fumbles did they create in that game? You know, this is an Elks defense that created turnovers in other ways. I think it's 10 total after 3 games. It hasn't been in the interception department.
So no harm for Edmonton ultimately after the interception by Kent. A 2 and out, but a good punt there by Meyer. 55 yards, and a flag is out on the return by Javon Leak, who works its way back up to about the 43. But see what this flag is all about. Going back the other way against Edmonton for Fajardo coming on. Trailing in the second half, but that's happened to Edmonton before, and they've come back to win this season. 29-21. Spectacular day in the Okanagan Valley. Wondered how the Lions defense would do against Justin Rankin, and so far good returns.
Well, the Lions defense this year, you know, is led from a leadership position in that middle linebacker spot by Darnell Sankey. And you know he got the guys fired up. And as the panel talked about at halftime, when all you hear all season long is about a player, well, you get geared up to stop that player. And they did that in the first half.
I mean, look at that line. 4 carries, -3 yards. For a guy who'd been averaging 8 yards a carry coming into this game.
You know, but good on Jordan Maksimic to say, okay, we're not going to hit our heads against the wall in the first half. We're going to get Cody throwing it.
Still within a score, down 8, back to Rankin, but no. Credit BC's defense. He's had a few yards receiving, but just nothing in the running game for Justin Rankin.
Yeah, just filling those gaps and making it tough on them. Now, some of the ways that in the first 3 games that Rankin created big plays was to spin out of the line of scrimmage and then take it wide with his great speed. Surprised to see that before this game is over.
3 receivers out to the wide side for Edmonton now on a 2nd down and 11 after another loss. And underneath, and that's Brendan O'Leary-Orange with another catch as he works his way up close to the 35, and that's a 1st down for the Edmonton Elks.
Little pressure from the BC Lions up the middle. Little pressure here, and it gets Cody Fajardo flushed outside, and once he's out there on the run, he sees O'Leary-Orange.
Gain of 13, O'Leary-Orange. Austin Mack. Oh, ball comes out, and it looks like the Elks have it. That is Carter O'Donnell falling on it after Austin Mack caught it and took a hit, and it came out. So still Edmonton football on a 2nd down.
Well, Carter O'Donnell was going out here to block on the bubble screen. That's when one or two of the offensive linemen will obviously, in a bubble screen, try and get out in front of a linebacker or DB, and that's what he does, and that puts him right on the spot at the right time to recover that, or the Lions turn it over.
So good work, O'Donnell, to prevent the turnover now. And a 2nd and 10 coming up here for Edmonton. Fajardo, backfield clear. And now to Rankin.
There you go.
Space, get him
there
going.
You go.
There's Justin Rankin. And that's more like it for Edmonton's offense as he gets it up to midfield. Another big 1st down for the Edmonton Elks and his biggest play of the day.
So Rankin, in the first half, the Lions were hugging Rankin. When he came out, a linebacker would go right to him, either that one or this one. He doesn't on this play. On this play, Rankin goes out. No linebacker hits him and gets in his face, and that gives him the space he needs. Cody finds him.
Just across midfield. Fajardo, it gets touched at the line, deflected, knocked down as the hands get up for the BC defense and Casey Sales in his first year with the Lions.
You saw that speed from Justin Rankin. You get him in space and look out. I bet the Lions, Mike Benavides is communicating to that Lions defense, hey, let's go back to that hug technique. If he gets out of the backfield, go hug him.
Been doing a lot of that. Casey Sales, former college teammate of Nathan Rourke, and teammates again. Coming over from the Ticats. 2nd and 10. Up high is Mack, but too high for him. Incomplete. And we now have a 3rd and 10 coming up here for the Elks.
Had to be on time in this one to Mack on the basically running down and running a dig, and you see the defenders all over there. So the window was there, and that's Cody Fajardo going, okay. Missed it by that much.
So Jake Julian back at his 43 to punt this one away. For Jaden Williams. 45-yard punt. Works his way up and through in his first game as a returner for the BC Lions after they made that change. Part 2 at the Apple Bowl, a touchdown Kelowna. What a magnificent day. We got a ball game, 29-21, 3rd quarter. What a week in Kelowna, bookended by 2 football games. Lots to eat and lots to do too for fans. Had a fan fest and the players out and meeting fans and signing autographs and get a chance to practice with the pros.
How cool is that?
Yeah.
Go out there and catch passes with Keon Hatcher, young quarterbacks here in the area getting a chance to learn from Nathan Rourke. Pretty cool. And for broadcasters, parasailing, fishing, wine tasting.
I was going to say, I'm going to ask you about your wine tour and your fishing. Little trout fishing,
Couple
too.
Trout, yeah.
Oh, yeah. There's BC football with an 8-point lead. Rourke facing the heat and gets rid of it. A flag is out. That's Terrell Ford in coverage there and Nick Senecal.
Not sure if it was out there, though, or if it was different receiver, which would be illegal contact
on receiver. Edmonton number 25, 10-yard penalty that will result in a first down.
That's the safety, Jalen Garnes, who's flagged for that as BC will move up.
Yeah, Jalen Garnes, the free safety. Coming downhill, a little tackle there. That's illegal contact because the ball wasn't thrown to that receiver.
So with that, it's a 1st and 10 up at the Lions 26. 29-21, leading it by 8 points. Yes, this great week in Kelowna could be that much greater for that man Buck Pearson. His BC Lions, after losing to Calgary here last week, looking to salvage a victory here and finally get in the win column. Pressure is coming on that running play. Butler squeaks through again. James Butler, another good pickup as he found a hole, worked his way through, and gets it up to the 40.
Jalen Garnes, the free safety for Edmonton, is making a lot of tackles in the run game. He has to make another one because at the line of scrimmage, again, Nick Anderson injured. Not playing that middle linebacker spot, as Enoch, our linebacker on the panel, mentioned at halftime. By the way, a Grey Cup MVP.
Yep.
He mentioned that without your veteran in the middle, the run game can be more successful.
It was Garnes on the tackle of Butler. He's up at 99 for the game. There's Justin McInnes. Last year's the leading receiver in the CFL a couple of years ago, but consistently one of the top receivers in BC, but a quieter game for him.
Dariel Jabome, I mean, this is a guy that everyone, I think, is real excited to see at middle linebacker, replacing Nick Anderson. Grew up in Quebec. Played his college ball at Rutgers, was a team captain there. That's how good he was his college days. He's a thumper in there too, but the experience is the key.
Getting his first CFL start, the rookie. And it's knocked away. What a good defensive play. Cordell Jackson coming in on Justin McInnes.
It's tough when you're in man to play against a slant. When you run a slant offensively, it's really tough to cover. And Cordell Jackson drives through this. I mean, he drives right through this to this football. Look at this. Look at this speed, recognition. Came out of his chair in a split second and drove right through the ball. That's a great defensive play.
Carl Meyer awaiting the snap of Cam Foran. Back to the 30 with Javon Leake. Back for it for Edmonton. Coming in to get it. Takes it out of the air after a 41-yard punt. Goes to the right, finds the edge. Foran, the long snapper, chasing him out of bounds. And a good return for Javon Leake. Down by 8 with the ball. Looking to break through on the right side. Javon Leake, Edmonton football.
You know, across the country, when some in the media are talking about quarterbacks, ranking quarterbacks, they'll constantly rank Cody Fajardo down near the bottom. And I don't quite understand it. I mean, when you look at his career, and CFL All-Star in Saskatchewan, was the leading passer in the league that year. A couple of times he's been nominated Outstanding Player, Grey Cup MVP, Grey Cup champion in Montreal. Off to a 3-0 start. Yeah, he's missed a throw or two. Every quarterback does. But I'll tell you what, efficient is a good way to say it. Kate mentioned that.
And he's passing here and completing this one to TJ Luther. And those two combined, and talk about Fajardo leading the winning drive that was capped off by Luther last week in Winnipeg.
Yeah, and you know, I think Kate's bang on. Is that when you're efficient with the football, there's three things that you got to be when you're a good quarterback. You got to be tough, mentally and physically. You got to be accurate, and you got to make great decisions. Cody Fajardo ticks all those boxes. And if you look at his resume, he's a superstar. I mean, he's a star player in the league.
And adds it up to the BC 51. Here goes Rankin. His best running play by far. He'd broken through with the short passes, but that time, after being in the minuses in the rushing category, picks up 15 yards.
So they get Cody Fajardo on the edge. He starts throwing the ball, a little bit of the corner action to Austin Mack, and then go back to the run and get Justin Rankin going.
On the move now and looking deep down the right in the end zone and close to a hat trick of touchdowns for Keon Julian Grant. That close in behind, but no, falls incomplete in the end zone.
Yeah, can't throw it any better. That was right on the spot. Keon Julian Grant's got a couple. He's looking for the hat trick. He's in behind coverage.
That close.
Right through his fingers.
So Fajardo has mixed it up too. Come to know the short and mid-range passes and that running game that they had relied on in previous games, but he has thrown the deep ball in this one too. That one narrowly missing. It's a 2nd and 10, and they set up a draw to Rankin. And another good pickup. Ball's out in the hands of the Lions, and Casey Sales, after Rankin had a good gain going there, lost the football, and another turnover forced by the BC defense for the 3rd time in this game after forcing none in their first 3 games. Rankin finally getting something going on the ground, stopped suddenly there, right into the hands of Sales. BC ball.
This was the scene here in Kelowna after BC's loss against Calgary following the game a week ago. An intense conversation between Keon Hatcher and Nathan Rourke. Now, I want to be clear, the two men were not fighting. Hatcher was venting to Rourke. He was pretty upset just about how his team was playing, and he was essentially saying what he planned to say to the team afterwards when he got into the locker room. In fact, Hatcher was so heated, he brought his young son, Keon Jr., with him so that he would be less angry than he otherwise would. I asked Hatcher, what got you so heated? He just said the lack of fight in this team in key moments. You talked about the kick return touchdown early in the 4th quarter, and he said you could just see on our bench our team at that moment had given up, and he didn't want to see that going forward. He said this particular week has been very good for the team. All the families have been here. They've drawn themselves much closer. Practices have been very good. They've been on point, but he did not like how his team responded that week. We'll see what happens if they get into another critical moment here in the 4th quarter tonight.
And Farhan, I would think that much more frustrated when this is a team that went to the West Final and nearly got to the Grey Cup last year. Expectations have been high. Still looking for the win column, and here's James Butler. Very productive day for Butler. Over 100 yards rushing in this one.
Yeah, playbook wide open on 2nd down when it's only about a yard to go. And he has not been stopped at the line of scrimmage. The Lions all game long have been able to get, it's over 100 yards rushing, and all day long they've been able to get one of their offensive linemen on Jabome.
On the rookie middle linebacker.
Yeah, if you can cut off the middle linebacker, you got a chance to get the run game going.
He got 9, 2nd and 1, and he's got 108 in the game. And they try the trick, and it pays off. Riley Pickett, the fullback, hauled down by Ford. Xander Horvath had lined up at quarterback for short yardage, and they snapped it back to Nathan Rourke. 37-yard pickup as they caught the Elks D off guard.
Short yardage play. This is what happens when your team stays in the same city, brings the family in, a lot of team time going on. Team time isn't just when you're on the field playing a game. Team time is when you're hanging out, you're eating dinner, you're going to barbecues together, you're writing up some cool plays. Between the leg snap to Nathan Rourke, little trick play caught the Edmonton Elks off guard.
And here's Rourke handing off to Butler. Takes a big pop. Boy, Joel DeBlanco has been really laying some hard hits out there for the Elks defense, but another good carry there by Butler.
And last week we saw the reverse pass to Keon Hatcher on the reverse, and then he threw it to Rourke. Now we see the short yardage trick play. These plays too for teams are a ton of fun to practice, and you wonder if you're ever going to get to do them in a game. And
well,
Buck Pierce says, "Yet you are."
To your point, we talk about short yardage quarterbacks, and Horvath is not a quarterback. But if they leave Rourke on the field, they are open for a little trick that way, which they have done in short yardage. Rourke hands off, and that's Horvath doing what we're most used to seeing. That's carrying the football as a running back and taking it down after a 6-yard carry by Butler. They run for another first down. BC threatening again.
Yeah, I think as the season goes on, you'll see more and more of Xander Horvath just to give James Butler a rest and keep them both fresh. But he is a talent in his own right. Low center of gravity, tough to bring down, but tremendous speed. Doesn't get enough credit for his speed.
Absolutely. Got the rushing touchdown, receiving touchdown last week. Just used as a decoy before on a play that helped sustain this drive for BC in a big gain. And he has the football again. Another carry for Xander Horvath.
Ariel Jabome is going to settle in and has been settling. He made the big play on the hit from DeBlanco when the ball popped up, and he was right where he needed to be for that interception. I've watched him do it through this series on the run. He's getting closer. He's settling in. He's fighting off that block from an offensive lineman. But you get a big offensive lineman on your middle linebacker, like we mentioned, makes it tough on him.
So 2nd and 6. Late third quarter. Rourke. Complete. Horvath again. Very involved in this drive in several different ways as he has that catch and inside the 10.
Rock meet hammer here. Xander Horvath. Big back, big strong back. Here comes DeBlanco. All right. Pads popping again in Kelowna.
And that's Matthew Betts, the injured, Dejon Allen, number 50, their right tackle, the injured player for the BC Lions.
Anauna is the only other offensive lineman they have dressed.
As he grimaces and will head off to the sideline for at least 3 plays. 3 seconds on the clock until three-quarter time, but BC up 8 and a great chance now to make this a 2-score game at the very least again. Chris Schlugger moves from right guard to right tackle with Una coming in at right guard. Last play, third quarter. And Rourke swinging it out. It's Hergy Mayala. And a good tackle hanging on to him by the ankles and no gain there. That's the Sam linebacker, Kenny Logan, with a good tackle there on Mayala. Interesting third quarter as BC continues to lead. An 8-point ball game. 29-21, 15 minutes away, they hope, from their first victory of the season. The numbers through 3 quarters and much more encouraging for the winless BC Lions. They're leading in every statistical category, including forcing 3 turnovers, but the job isn't done yet.
Yeah, those were the 2 things that the Lions were missing. On defense, they hadn't created a turnover. They've done that 3 times now in 3 quarters here in this one, and they need to get the running game going. They did that with James Butler and now Horvath a little bit. One thing for Edmonton in that third quarter, a little more Justin Rankin, and they got him into space, a little bit on the run game. This game is far from over.
That was one of the turnovers they forced, though, on a good Rankin run. And they have driven down after that. And it's a 2nd and goal now from the 9 for BC, looking to open it up a little bit more. They head into the final 15 with an 8-point lead. Buck Pierce looking for win number 1 in the season. They so desperately need it. A 2nd and goal here.
An 0-3 team is never comfortable with any lead. Can they finish this drive with a major?
Make their trip to Kelowna feel a whole lot better, wouldn't it? So here's Rourke at a shotgun. 2nd down. End zone. Does he get there? They tried to push him out. A late push for a BC touchdown. Xander Horvath. A receiving touchdown for Horvath, who was such a big part of this drive. And it looked like the Elks had kept him out, but just a late push to get Horvath in, and the Lions add to their lead.
Let's call this the Horvath drive. He touched the ball a few times on this drive, and he needed a little help from the big guys to get him in, and it was Una who came in for Dejon Allen, who gets part of that, pushes the pile, and gets involved in that play down the field, and Una's there just celebrating because he's the guy who made the difference.
Hey, credit the guys up front, really making it happen that time as well. And Horvath, you know, the one play that he didn't touch the ball was on that trick play on short yardage, and he was a factor in that too. Sean White with the point after to knock it up to 36, but you know, Horvath a part of that too. It went back to Nathan Rourke and the completion to Riley Pickett.
Well, good blocking up front as well. You got an outside block here. Good blocking just one-on-one to give Rourke some protection as the pocket slowly breaks down. That's Woodruff and Yates on that side of the offensive line. He dumps it down to Horvath, who needed a little bit of help from the big boys, and Una comes in and finishes it off. He wasn't getting in there. There were 4 Edmonton Elk tacklers, including DeBlanco. And Una went in there and said, yep, let me help you out here, my friend.
They had pushed him out. And Una, mentioned with Dejon Allen injured, and he came in. And give credit to the big guys up front. Some of the holes they've opened up for James Butler, who talked about that earlier.
Yeah, their best game by far.
It is.
Yeah.
They've run the ball really well. Rourke's had some time. And then literally getting involved in that touchdown. And Una making sure Horvath got into the end zone. 36-21 BC. The kickoff from Meyer, and it's Javon Leake at his 11. Good return, Leake. Still has it going. Still has it going. Across midfield. Best return of the day that we've seen. And remember, BC sensitive about that on special teams last week when Tyreek McAllister had a 90-yard punt return for a touchdown, a 54-yard return.
Yeah, crucial that Edmonton goes out and finishes this and takes advantage of this big return by Javon Leake. You just got the feeling that Leake was going to break one. He does here, and that gives Edmonton a ton of momentum to step on the field and maybe answer that major from Nathan Rourke of the Lions.
Good start. It puts Cody Fajardo in the Elks offense in the Lions zone at the 45. First down to start the drive. 4-man rush. Oh, the ball gets away from him. You see his arm moving forward to throw it, and then the ball just leaked out. Incomplete.
Casey Sales up here at the top. Little swim move is the guy that's going to cause the problems for Fajardo. Well, actually just knocked the hands down, but I think the arm was going forward. Well, they're saying it was a fumble.
Incomplete pass.
Yeah.
I'm going to say.
Yeah, that's what I thought.
They initially had it for a loss, but no, it goes back to the original line of scrimmage in a 2nd and 10. Fajardo 18 of 29 for 223. Passing here on the 2nd down. Luther, and like he was struggling to keep the handle on the football there, but he does. A complete pass, but it's a 3rd down after a 7-yard pickup. And special teams coming on here now for the Edmonton Elks.
Yeah, well.
So Vincent Blanchard will attempt a field goal. Towards the end, where the wind had been gusting against them, doesn't appear to be as bad now, although it does pick up. 45-yard try for Blanchard. Out and down and kicked, and that wind pushed it back as it looked like it was heading to his right and back between the uprights. Read the wind nicely there for Blanchard to put 3 on the board after that good return by Leake. So he's 9 for 9 on the season, and the Elks still down 12 here in Kelowna. Look at the special teams coordinator in his first year in that job, Des Cotillier, with the Edmonton Elks. After this field goal, with the wind as a factor in the hold too for Blanchard.
Yeah, Jake Julian with a great hold there. That was a low snap. from Brad Hladek. And look at the action on that draw from Blanchard. That, you know, it reminds me of our director, Andy Boyukas, on Predator Ridge this week. Nice draw right to the green.
Beautiful natural draw, exactly the way he planned it. Looked like it was heading way right of the fairway and then ends up in the center of it.
Whoa!
Back to Butler. Lions still in charge, 12-point lead, but plenty of time.
By the way, Andy was short by 10 yards to the green, but it looked the same.
He never told us what happened in the hole. Rankin 19 yards rushing now. He'd been in the minus heading into the second half, but what a difference. Butler 100 yards even more than he has.
These plays become bigger now when you're down 2 possessions. To get the stop quickly, get Cody Fajardo back on the field.
2nd and 5 now. Fourth quarter in Kelowna. Lions looking for the first win. Pressure's coming. On the blitz, Rourke gets it away. Little fighting there. It's J.J. Ross on Keon Hatcher, and Ross has been flagged for it. We got a pass interference coming up against Edmonton.
Yeah, there's no question that Nathan Rourke knew that the blitz was coming. He saw it pre-snap, so he knew there was a free hitter.
Defensive pass interference. Edmonton, number 29. The ball will be placed where the infraction occurred. Automatic first down.
The free hitter and DeBlanco coming off the edges. And he knows he's got a go route from Hatcher. J.J. Ross just, you want to hug him, but not down the field like that.
Not quite like that. Gain of 17 on the penalty. Into the Elks zone now at their 48. BC, after the Edmonton field goal, trying to answer back with a 12-point lead now, and back to Butler. Straight up the middle and just works his way inside the 45. A gain of 4 yards, 2nd and 6 ahead.
Despite 3-0, the Elks have had a little bit of penalty problems that they will need to clean up. I mean, coming into this game after 3, they were last in the league at 81 yards per game in penalties. You know, Mark Killam, a lot of times winning will hide some of those blemishes.
And as we look at the Lions offense on the field, Farhan tells us Dejon Allen, the right tackle, is out for the rest of the day with a head injury. As Rourke goes to work on a 2nd and 6. Caught first down near the 30. That's Justin McInnes. Another catch for him, his 4th. And here comes BC after a 14-yard pickup.
Justin McInnes. They got trips to the wide side of the field. He's number 2 receiver, just sits down in that soft spot.
Working up near 300 yards passing is Nathan Rourke. Rolling out to the right for Horvath. A solid second half, and not much there, maybe a yard. Joel DeBlanco's also had a very solid game. Their 3rd-year linebacker in on the tackle.
Well, I could tell by his interview with Farhan at halftime that they believe in Cody Fajardo in their offense. So that's what they're thinking. Get the stop. As long as there's still time on the clock and we give him a couple more possessions, he can bring us back in this game. They're 3 wins. They've done it in a lot of different ways.
They have, and they had to come from behind at home against Montreal and late against Winnipeg when the Bombers had come back to take a 1-point lead. Drove down for a winning touchdown. And trailing by 12 here, though, in the 4th quarter. Just over 9 minutes to go. Here's Rourke on a 2nd and 8, and they have him. He tries to throw it away at the end. Noah Taylor had him wrapped up and was taking him the other way. It'll go down as a sack for the Edmonton Elks.
He's in that stand-up position. It wasn't anything fancy as far as blitz. Just a good move on the outside when he has that swim move on Chris Slugger, who again has moved out for Dejon Allen. Nice move in the one-on-one, and he gets home.
Saw Rourke throw it away, but they call it a sack, the 2nd sack of the season for number 42 there, Noah Taylor. So Sean White has come on, and the ball will be put down by Carl Meyer at about the 43, a little outside of that, to see if BC can at least answer back with a field goal now and restore the 15-point lead. And he's playing with the wind a little bit, and that one veers off to the right on White. And Leak on the missed field goal return. Another good one for Leak. Not only no points on the board for BC, but a solid return there for Leak. First miss of the season for a guy who rarely misses. With that gusting wind, playing havoc with that cap. Edmonton ball, still down 12. The Edmonton Elks are down, but they've been down before. This was last week against Winnipeg. Down 1 against the Bombers, and a late drive. Austin Mack a part of that. And then this to TJ Luther. That put them ahead, and the Bombers, needing a touchdown, couldn't get there as the Elks improved to 3-0. 11 of 16 games have been comeback victories in the Canadian Football League. As you like to say, nothing is certain, especially with this much time left. 12-point difference. So the Elks benefiting from the Sean White miss for 3 more points. BC, it remains a 12-point difference. 4-man rush. Fajardo steps in, airs it out. Deep right, one-on-one, and it is intended there for Hergy Mayala, but the coverage is good. It's incomplete at second down.
Good coverage again from Ronald Kent. Been a few attempts at these corner routes.
That's, TJ Luther, the intended receiver for Edmonton.
And you see this time there was an early pass interference in this game. Ronald Kent was a little early. This time he looked back to the football, high pointed it, got the tip. You start to believe when you make a couple of turnovers.
2nd and 10. Back to the right, it's intercepted. C.J. Colden has it. And takes a hit down around the 30. There is a flag out. And a late hit could be coming up here against BC.
Yeah, this is roughing the passer. Definitely roughing.
Major foul. Major foul. Roughing the passer. BC number 90. It's going to be a 15-yard penalty. Automatic first down.
Andre doesn't have to worry about the crowd. He can just make the call. That's inside move, and it was a high hit too, I believe. I'm not sure the timing was all that bad. Cody Fajardo had just let go of it when he took the hit. It looked like it was a little high. Matthew Betts wanting an explanation.
So extends the drive, and TJ Luther, by the way, got some attention and headed off to the sideline. As this Edmonton drive will continue with that penalty on Matthew Betts for roughing the passer. Up to the Edmonton 46 now. 7:13 on the clock. Just past the halfway point of this fourth quarter. Fajardo to the left, and no, incomplete. Closest receiver was Brendan O'Leary-Orange.
Yeah, a little bit of confusion there from both receivers. It was Luther and Brendan O'Leary-Orange, I believe. A little confusion in the routes. They both kind of came out of their breaks and stood there, and Brinkman swats it away like it was a fly as the ball's coming towards him.
Like a nuisance coming towards him there.
Yeah, get out of here.
2nd and 10. Out to Rankin. Head of steam. Spins. Keeps going. First down at the BC 50.
So good. Not sure why Mike Benavides has changed. Well, I'm not, you're never sure of the call defensively, but in the first half they were hugging up on that swing pass. The moment that Fajardo sees that he's open, he's going to give him the ball because he'll make it happen down the field.
Back for Rankin.
There
that one incomplete, and the Lions react like it could be a live ball, and they're going to run it out. And they let it play it out. With Matthew Betts taken into the end zone. Was that pass behind? It looked like it was just forward, intended for Rankin. In fact, a little bit too far in front of him, but they'll discuss, and they did let it play out just in case.
Yeah, that's the right decision. Cody wants to explain that it was not behind. There's Rankin right here coming out of the backfield. He's right at the center stripe. Fajardo turns. Throws it just in front of that.
Not much, mind you. Not on that replay. If it was right along the
Ruling
line.
on the field it was an incomplete pass. However, we've got an objectionable conduct against the bench of Edmonton. So we're going to go back 10 yards. It will be second down.
Well, the refs had it right live. Elks didn't like that.
Didn't like that being allowed to play out.
Yeah. Didn't like letting the play just continue, which is the right thing to do. Let it continue. Any potential turnover or turnover is automatically reviewed by the replay center. So you can make sure you get it right after the fact, but
so somebody said something that it cost him 10 yards.
Slightly forward.
2nd and 20 now. Caught by Mack. Gets a good chunk of the yardage back. About 12 yards of it, but it's still a 3rd and long coming up. Punting unit and Jake Julian coming on here for Edmonton.
Yeah, still time to do that. You're 2 possessions still. However, as you know, you can get 2 or 3 possessions inside of 3 minutes in our game.
We've seen it happen before. Jackson and Williams back. A flag is out back at the BC returners. 38-yard punt. Jackson with it, taken down just across his 15. That flag was out early too, just after the ball had been punted. The BC Lions, still lots of time on the clock, but getting closer to their first win of the season.
Jesse Marsh and that group united this country like nothing can. And so many firsts for Canadian soccer.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
They got the first victory and ended up beating South Africa in the knockout stage, but losing today to Morocco after a great first half too. But ultimately Morocco prevails. And here's BC looking to prevail in this game, and that's a good start to this drive. Keon Hatcher just kept his feet. 24th career 300-plus yard passing performance by Nathan Rourke, and a big first down for the Lions.
Yeah, move the launch point, get him outside, get him away from that pass rush on the play action. He just sort of fades out to his right, then gets on the full roll, and there is Hatcher in behind the linebackers.
That's up to the 49. Nathan Rourke looking to stay perfect, by the way, against Edmonton. As difficult as things have been for him and the Lions this year, he's 6-0 against the Elks in his career. Really needing to make it 7 for this Lions team. Hatcher with 94 yards receiving. Rourke. Oh, intercepted DeBlanco. Got it off the bobble by McInnes. And I'll tell you, they're down 12, but DeBlanco has really made his presence felt in this game for Edmonton. And that's the second time that the Lions have turned it over.
Well, very uncharacteristic for Justin McInnes to have this bounce off him. I mean, this ball is thrown right where it has to be. And the Lions were moving into the scoring zone. I mean, you can't throw it any better than that. It hit him between the 1 and the 8 and bounces out. DeBlanco is having a game, though. When you're around the football like this on defense, good things happen.
And because of that, Edmonton is hanging around. Yeah, they're down 12. Over 4 minutes left. They got to get something going here, and here's a guy that can do it. Rankin takes the catch, gets it to midfield. First down for the Elks after an 11-yard pickup.
Design play to get the big boys out front. Some of those offensive linemen out to help on that little swing pass. Get it to him quick. If the Lions aren't hugging the back like they did in the first half, then he's got time to get the big boys out front.
Edmonton called timeout with 3 minutes and 56 seconds remaining on the game clock.
Using that timeout before the 3-minute warning, and Joel DeBlanco. Big part of the turnovers and some big hits in this game, too.
Well, the biggest. When you get Enoch Mwamba fired up at halftime about a hit, our former linebacker on the panel, and he was fired up about that one. But yeah, he's been around the football, making plays. And when he talked to Farhan and said, hey, we've won in a lot of different ways. We just got to fit it in on the run.
And that one, heading for Mack, goes incomplete on that first down. But yeah, I mean, quite a performance, but by a linebacker for the Elks, and they really need it. Nick Anderson is out.
Yep,
he's on the sixth game. And Brock Mogensen, who took his place for J.C. Sherritt's defense, got hurt last week in Winnipeg, forcing them to start a rookie at middle linebacker. And Jabomi had the pick, but DeBlanco was the one that forced it.
So if they don't get it here, are you going on third down?
Heading down towards 3 minutes, 2-score game. Fajardo. That's caught by Brendan O'Leary-Orange. And a first down just inside the 35 now. The Elks needing 2 touchdowns.
Watch the throwing lane open up for Fajardo here. We snap the ball. Go ahead and run it, guys. We snap it, stop it here. There's the throwing lane. Right down the middle. You know he's got that sit down right at the marker. Second play in a row that the offensive line came up big.
The game clock to read 3 minutes and 4 seconds as BC called timeout.
So the Lions take a timeout before the warning. Ball just inside the BC 35. A 1st and 10 here in the final 3 minutes for the Elks, who need a touchdown. No question about that. Field goal doesn't do them much help now, down by 12.
Well, with Benefides, I think that timeout, he calls it, there must have been some confusion defensively in the lineup. I mean, there are some changes made. Deontay Williams to the secondary, as we mentioned off the top. Jackson Finley down to play that linebacker spot. He has an interception tonight. And Stanley, Thomas Oliver, the rookie on the corner. So you want to make sure they knew in this crucial moment in the game, knew where they should be lining up and what their assignment is.
Thomas Oliver, you see him in the top right of your screen. This is second CFL game, his first start. With all the injuries to the Lions secondary. Here we go. Heading down to 3 minutes, and that's Joshua Cephas, who has the catch inside the 30. The 3-minute warning is given. Edmonton Elks, perfect record on the line. BC Lions looking for win number 1. Elks need 2 touchdowns in the final 3 minutes to make it a comeback win. Back at the Apple Bowl in Kelowna, the 2nd straight week that the BC Lions have played a home game here. What a week it's been, but it'd be a whole lot sweeter for that man, Amar Doman, to see his team come up with a victory too and get that first elusive W on the season. They're in front by 12. Edmonton football, though, in a 2nd and 3, pressing. Caught, first down, and out of bounds. That's T.J. Luther with it.
Luther runs the out from the inside slot position, but I circled just before that the matchup with Thomas Oliver on Austin Mack. He runs a go route here. I won't be surprised at all if Cody Fajardo tries to go to that matchup and test the rookie in this key moment.
Fajardo's under pressure. A flag is out. Looks over to Rankin, who's near another first down pending this flag. Fajardo had already gone over 300 yards passing for the 18th time in his career. And this will be interesting here on that first down play. That flag coming out just as the ball was snapped, and Fajardo indicating it's going against the Lions.
Short side. Defensive offside, BC number 49. That penalty is declined.
First down.
Right down inside the 10, a 1st and goal.
A 2nd and 1, actually.
Or a 2nd and 1, excuse me. On the 5 yards that they get for that. So Fajardo, short yardage to the right, and does pick up that first down, getting it around the 5. And now we have a 1st and goal for the Edmonton Elks, who need touchdowns at this point of the ball game, 2 of them. They can make it very interesting if they can get in quickly here with still 2:44 in the clock.
Well, if they can get it in quickly, they don't have to onside kick it. They can kick it deep and hope their defense gets a 2-and-out.
Let's see here. Rankin is out wide to the right. Fajardo intercepted. Darnell Sankey. What a moment for the BC defense when they needed it. Finally ridden out of bounds by Cameron Carter, but a team that could not force a single turnover in their first 3 games have just done it for the 4th time in this one.
He led the charge in the first half, trying to contain Justin Rankin, which they accomplished, the BC Lions defense, and he just sits over the middle, waiting for any slant coming from either side. Cody Fajardo doesn't count him, and he throws it right to him.
3 years ago, Cody Fajardo and Darnell Sankey were teammates on the Alouettes winning a Grey Cup. This time Sankey denies Fajardo as they were heading for the end zone. BC ball. And it's Butler time now. Chugging those legs. Logan takes him down, but not before another first down carry of 14 yards.
You think he heard about the talk about Justin Rankin?
Timeout.
I'm sure he did.
4 turnovers. It's funny when talking to Ryan Phillips, who is a former DB with, I believe, 49 career interceptions on his resume, said, you know, when the turnovers start, they'll come in bunches.
And they have. The interceptions, the forced fumble, and Darnell Sankey, big free agent acquisition, leaving the Alouettes for the Lions, and his biggest moment that may have just helped secure the first victory of the season for the BC Lions. 2:19 on the clock. Nathan Rourke is thrown for 320. Hands it off to Butler, who gets caught behind the line of scrimmage. Lost yardage there. Malik Carney is in, but overall a very good day for Butler.
Still want to grind this clock. As I mentioned earlier, when you're 0-3 coming in, you're not comfortable with any lead.
Take nothing for granted.
Exactly.
Looking very good for the Lions now, but yeah, for Buck Pierce and company, not over yet. And what a sigh of relief this would be heading into a bye, and a great week in Kelowna to salvage a victory, get in the win column. Just under 2 minutes away now, and they have the ball on a 2nd and 14, keeping it on the ground. Butler again, and they will punt it away. Lions opened up in week 2 with a narrow loss in the Western Final rematch with the Rough Riders, taking the lead late and watching Saskatchewan come back and beat them. They suffered a lot of injuries in that game. They went to Hamilton and were effectively blown out by the Ticats early and often with Bo Levi Mitchell and deep passes that really hurt them. And then coming into touchdown Kelowna, week 1 last week against Calgary, falling to 1-3.
And here is a test for their new by committee special teams coaching department. This coverage of this kick, important.
And it's Javon Leake back for it too, and we know what he can do. Last week Tyreek McAllister had a big return for a touchdown. Oh, he bobbles it, but he picks it up. And after a 53-yard punt, he gets it across his 25, so near turnover there. It is Edmonton ball. Fajardo coming back on, 1:22 on, and yeah, still needing those 2 touchdowns with a lot less time to get them.
And that should do it. The way the season has gone for all of these games, I've been very reluctant to say that until there's about 3 seconds left. Listen, Edmonton at 3-1, still sitting nice. These 2 teams will play. The Lions have a bye after this one, but they'll play again in a couple weeks.
Yeah, they go to Edmonton a couple of weeks from now. The Elks will be back home next week to host the Ottawa Redblacks. Fajardo, and he hits the fullback, Griffith. Short pickup, product of UBC.
So what's the difference here for BC to get their first win? They got some turnovers on defense, something they hadn't been able to do for 3 straight games. They got the running game going on offense.
Big keys. Austin Mack.
And I'll add one more. They got ahead of the score. They came out early. They got up 7-0. So Edmonton was chasing because the BC Lions for 3 straight games were chasing the score every single game.
Really flipped the script on that one. You're right. Something to show for it. James Butler. What a day. 14 carries, 134 yards, couple of touchdowns. Fajardo underneath again to Rankin. And up to the 45.
Look at that shot.
Matter of time now. Isn't that beautiful? Well,
that shot.
Yeah.
Kelowna mounts behind it.
Yeah. On behalf of many, we can say our thanks to Kelowna. A couple of just memorable days here, like when they had the games against Calgary last week, and then this one, of course, which I'm sure the Lions will appreciate a whole lot more.
That's Mike Benavides, and for the first time all season long, he might get a good night's sleep.
Yeah, tough for Benny and Ryan Phillips, and the criticism that especially the Lions on defense have taken, but a better performance in this one and forcing those turnovers, getting those picks.
And those 2 guys didn't forget how to coach.
No.
In those 3 games. You know, sometimes it's hard to stop that rock rolling downhill when you're behind it, but this allows all of those BC Lions, including Buck Pierce, get a good night's sleep. They got that first win. They're starting to believe a little bit. Self-doubt gets pushed back to the back of the mind. And you got a chance. You got to buy a little bit of rest, get some injured players back, and then go over to Edmonton.
Thibaut Dabaya, the injured BC Lion, heading off, but they're getting ready to celebrate here in Kelowna. And a sigh of relief, I'm sure. Time running out, and Fajardo, Luther with it, tries to scramble for a first down on that 2nd and 9. And the Elks will get another team still looking for their first win in the 0-4 Ottawa Red Blacks next week at Commonwealth Stadium.
Easy message for Mark Killam, though. All they have to do is look at this film. They were 0-3, the Lions. So don't let the record change how you prepare. And, you know, it was 12-point, 8-point game for a lot of it till deep here into the 4th quarter.
And you mentioned the Lions with the bye and then on the road again. And in essence, they've been on the road, even here in Kelowna, although these are home games. They will host the Argos July 25th for their first game back at BC Place. Knocked down Casey Sales.
And they won't play on the natural grass that was in there for the other form of football.
Well, BC Place, of course, hosting the World Cup, and they will make some changes there and get it ready for the CFL again.
That's why they have to bye when they do.
Yeah, and they have the bye, but it'll be home sweet home. But this is the home away from home, and it's looking a whole lot sweeter now for the black and orange. Underneath again to Rankin. And still, even at this point of the game, they're not going to win it, but another nice move on a would-be tackler.
Mike, can we show that one more time? Mike's our producer, by the way. Down
Mike Marshall.
Mike, just one time. Just, you know, you just watch this guy in action. I mean, he's worth the price of admission. And, yeah, this game's over for Edmonton. They'll suffer their first loss. But look at that. I mean, man.
8 seconds. Well, why not? Some more stats for Rankin on a day where they've been hard to come by. And Parker McKenna was the one that got deked out by Rankin the previous play, and he hasn't forgotten.
He got him there.
Lays a good hit on there. 10th catch for Rankin, who had negative yardage on the ground in the first half. So that's a nice feather in the cap for the BC Lions.
Again, the guy playing for injured Ben Hladek.
For the injured Ben Hladek. And that's it. Last play. Touchdown Kelowna, part 2. Mack tries to get to the end zone, but doesn't get there. Well, there's a W in Kelowna. And there's a W for the BC Lions now.
Infraction of play, that's the end of the game.
For the first time this season, the Lions are in the win column. And they'll leave the Okanagan Valley a whole lot happier.
And by the way, the Lions and Elks only play twice this year, so that tackle at the end was important.
For the point differential.
Yes.
Didn't quite get there.
It could be important at the end of the season.
Yeah, they'll meet again, as you talked about, in 2 weeks' time at Commonwealth. Mark Killam. And after that 3-0 start, the Elks suffer their first loss of the season with Ottawa next week, and then the Lions the week after. And still on top of the West Division, along with the Saskatchewan Roughriders and Nathan Rourke. And smiles all round. Certainly reason to for the BC Lions now after that tough loss here at the Apple Bowl to the Calgary Stampeders a week ago.
Every team has great talent, but when you bring that team together and give them a chance to bond, it makes all the difference. That's what the Lions did. They got their first win.
BC Lions leave Kelowna with a win. And we leave Kelowna very grateful for the hospitality here after an excellent week and 2 games. Sports Center coming up with Wesley Chang and Nikki Reyes. Thanks for watching. Have a great night, everybody.